I am an esper with the power of speech manifestation. As long as I say, God says I can fly. Even without wings, I can immediately lift off into the air. If I then say, God says I can turn invisible, then I can disappear in an instant. But when I crossed over into the apocalypse, possessing the body of someone trapped for 3 months, who had already starved to death, Su Yangxi, I immediately said, God says, I need a bowl of white rice. But the next second, nothing happened at all. That's when I realized this body had no spiritual power. While I was thinking how to get out, there was suddenly banging on the door. The cabinet and table had the door blocked tightly. I couldn't even look out through the peephole. But the person on the other side kept knocking, which made me certain it was a person, not a zombie, outside the door. I leaned on the cabinet and shouted, "Someone's inside." Even though I shouted with all my strength, my voice wasn't very loud. But the person outside still heard someone was inside. Soon after, I heard an excited voice. With the help of Pei Yan and the others, I was finally rescued. After sitting in the back seat of the SUV, I looked at Pei Yan in the passenger seat. She was playing with a light blue crystal in her hand. I raised my eyebrows slightly and asked, "What's that in your hand?" Pei Yan paused for a moment, then simply answered, "Crystal core." Since I'd been locked in for 3 months and never went out, Pei Yan explained that it's something from a zombie's brain. As long as you take out the crystal core, the zombie will die completely. The usually quiet Jifeng couldn't help chiming in. These crystal cores are useful for espers like us too. Oh right, are you an esper? From the original host's memories, I understood what an esper was. So I nodded. Yeah, I am. What kind of ability do you have? Jifeng seemed a bit surprised. I thought for a moment and said, I guess I can do a little bit of everything. Jifeng glanced at me through the rearview mirror, looking a bit speechless. I ignored him and just looked at Pei Yan. Can I have this crystal core? I'll give it back to you later. Pei Yan handed the crystal core to me and reminded me, even though we espers absorb energy from the crystal cores, the crystals are mixed with some viruses. When absorbing, you need to remove the viruses from inside. Before she could finish, she saw that the crystal core in my hand had already turned into a gray rock. Pei Yan was startled right away. Are you okay? I'm fine. After absorbing the spiritual energy, I regained some strength. I reached out for Pei Yan to check. When she looked puzzled, I whispered, God says, I have a cream bun. Yan frowned, thinking I'd lost my mind, and was about to tell Jifeng to stop the car. The next second, a cream bun actually appeared in my palm. The SUV suddenly braked sharply. My body lurched forward, but fortunately, my right hand protected my forehead. The bun was squashed in my hand, and the cream squeezed right out. I looked at Jifeng in annoyance. He laughed and said, Sis, where did you get that bun? Are you a spatial esper? I ignored him and kept eating my bun. Pei Yan, meanwhile, was thinking about what had just happened. Did you convert the energy in the crystal just now? Yeah, besides the spiritual energy, there were actually a lot of impurities in it. But I don't really know anything about conversion. I just absorbed the energy I need. You converted it so fast. How did you do it? Why are you able to do it so quickly? Is there a special way to convert it? Isn't it just about absorbing what you need directly? I looked up at Pei Yan. At this moment, the car suddenly stopped. Nearby zombies started to approach. Pei Yan didn't keep asking. Let's keep moving for now. We'll talk when we're somewhere safe. The SUV started up again. Because I'd absorbed the crystal core, I'd regained some strength. I also learned about the situation of the apocalypse from Pei Yan. It's been 3 months since the world ended. Society has completely collapsed. They're planning to head to G City, where a survivor base has been established. What about Pei? I went home first, but didn't see Dad or Auntie. As for Pei, I haven't been to his school yet. The two of them fell silent. Jifeng quickly spoke up. Pei, there's Linda Mall ahead. Should we go? Let's stop nearby and let Jibai check it out. The two SUVs stopped. I was told to wait until they finished clearing the zombies before getting out. Of course I didn't get out. I didn't have the strength to get out now, so I'd only be a burden. There weren't too many zombies on the street. Once they finished clearing them, I saw them take crystal cores out of the zombies' brains. My eyes immediately lit up. I hurried to get out of the car. But before I could walk over, I saw that man who, even in the apocalypse, still wore a white shirt, nodding at Pei Yan. There shouldn't be any danger nearby. As for inside the mall, it's a bit too far. We have to go in and check it out. Pei Yan wiped the golden box with a clean towel. When she saw me coming, she freed up one hand and waved me over. She then introduced everyone. Shen Jibai, you've met before. Remember him? Jibai, this is my sister Su Yangxi. Shen Jibai glanced at me and nodded slightly, not saying anything else. He's always been the quiet type. Pei Yan didn't say much more either, just called the other two over for introductions. One is Su Nianen, also Pei Yan's childhood friend. The other is Su Kin's, Su Nianen's fiancée. Pei Yan's power is the strongest. She's a fire-type esper. She's lively and a bit of a chatterbox. Jifeng is a wind-type esper. The quiet Shen Jibai is a psychic esper. The gentle-looking Su Nianen is a spatial esper. Su Kins, who always looks proud and never makes eye contact, is a water-type esper. Only Pei Yan and Shen Jibai are level 2 espers. Everyone else is still level 1. After Pei Yan and the others dug up the zombie crystal cores, the group headed into the mall. Even though it was still 50 or 60 meters away, through the shattered glass windows, you could still see zombies shuffling around. Notably, human abilities can level up, but so can zombies. They can evolve. Entering the mall, sure enough, there were lots of zombies inside. At a glance, there were dozens. Regarding the zombies on these floors, Pei Yan, they weren't really worried. These zombies moved too slowly, so clearing them out was just a matter of time. Their real goal was the big supermarket on the basement level. Unless the base had sent people before, it was basically impossible to empty it out. Everyone looked at Shen Jibai. He closed his eyes slightly, and soon his psychic ability spread out over the first floor. Before long, Shen Jibai's handsome face started turning pale, and sweat seeped from his forehead. Only then did he open his eyes, looking serious. I can only say there are a lot of zombies. There are way too many. I can't tell exactly how many. But with our current abilities, he shook his head as he spoke. He didn't continue his sentence. Pei Yan wasn't surprised to get this answer. Actually, they were already prepared before coming. Jifeng pointed at the 4th floor. I remember there's a food court on the 4th floor. Do you want to go up and check it out? No need, right? The food in the food court is mostly perishable ingredients. There are still quite a few zombies inside. Let's keep it down. Let's just look for clothes on the 1st floor. We still need to go to safer and more remote places to kill zombies. Gather more crystal nuclei to level up our powers. Otherwise, next time we find supplies, we'll have to give up again. No one objected to Pei Yan's words, so everyone went quiet, trying their best to stay away from zombies. They walked without making a sound. If we find any suitable clothes, let Su Nianen with the spatial power put them in storage. Half an hour later, after finishing searching for clothes, they quietly left the place. I never went in the whole time. Jifeng was waiting outside too. He was in charge of keeping watch. We got back in the car. I looked at Pei Yan, who had switched to the driver's seat. Are we really just leaving like this? We have no choice. We're not strong enough. If you gave me a few more gold boxes, maybe I could handle it. Little sis, you're really good at calculating. If you want the crystal nuclei, just say so. No need for excuses. You guys can invest in me. My power is really strong. I stopped talking. Pei Yan glanced at me in the rearview mirror. If you want crystal nuclei, you have to contribute to the team. To survive in the apocalypse, you have to understand investing. I folded my arms. Pei Yan was steering with one hand, using the other to pull a few crystal nuclei from his pocket. and tossed them to the back. I caught them perfectly. People without value can't survive. But you have background. I smiled. Pei Yan is actually a pretty good brother. Even though we have different fathers and mothers, he came to find me first. But unfortunately, he was still a step too late. The bead was long gone. I gripped the crystal nuclei tightly and instantly absorbed them all. Jifang was watching from beside me.
He blurted out a swear word.
Even watching it again, it still feels absurd. He gave me, his little sister, a complicated look. You're really amazing. I glanced at him, but said nothing. After absorbing a few crystal nuclei, my energy recovered a lot. Following Shen Jibai's advice, everyone arrived at a villa area as dusk approached. The villa they chose to stay in seemed to have been vacant for a long time. Lots of things inside were in disarray. There was a thick layer of dust on the floor as well. Everyone checked the villa over. After making sure it was safe, Pei Yan told everyone to pick their own rooms. You'll need to clean your rooms yourselves. Miss Su, could you please get some water ready? I didn't feel like going upstairs, so I found a room with a bathroom on the first floor. Then I used my power. A second later, the room looked brand new, as if it had just been thoroughly cleaned. The saying goes, this is a clean and tidy room. Pei Yan walked in with some bedding. Your room is so clean. Didn't I tell you? I'm good at a bit of everything. He saw my room and was stunned for a moment. You even have a cleaning power. Man, I really am inexperienced. So, sis, could you clean your brother's room too? Since you gave me some crystal nuclei this afternoon. Sure, Pei Yan's room is on the first floor. A small room. I took a glance and used my power. People say this is a clean room. The next second, everything in the room became spotlessly tidy. Even the tissues that had fallen on the ground were super clean. Pei Yan looked at me cheerfully. Su Yangxi, your power is incredible. He took out a few more crystal nuclei from his pocket and handed them to me. All these crystal nuclei are yours. After dinner, I'll go kill some more zombies. When I saw the crystal nuclei, my eyes lit up instantly. Just like girls in those short videos the original host used to watch, I acted coy on purpose, copying that girly voice. Thank you, brother. Speak normally. As we were talking, there was suddenly a knock at the door. Everyone went to the living room, all eyes landing on Shen Jibai. He gently closed his eyes. A moment later, he opened his thin lips again and spoke slowly. 2 men and 2 women, no sense of danger. When they heard Shen Jibai, Jifang looked at Pei Yan and asked, Pei Jie, should we open the door? Open it, Jifang walked over and opened the door. Sure enough, just as Shen Jibai said, there were 2 men and 2 women outside. They all looked pretty young, with a bit of innocent cluelessness in their eyes. When Jifang opened the door, their faces immediately lit up with joy. We saw 2 off-road vehicles parked outside, so we guessed someone was here. We didn't expect to actually find people. Jifang closed the door again and came back to Pei Yan's side, checking them out carefully. Who are you guys? Why do you want in? Hello, we're students from the nearby Polytechnic University. After the apocalypse broke out, we've been struggling to survive at school, waiting for rescue. We only just escaped the school recently. We ran into some people with flying powers along the way and learned about the current situation. Yeah, along the way, aside from a few people with flying powers, we haven't seen any other humans. We even wondered if we're the only people left in the world. Pei Yan raised an eyebrow. You're from Polytechnic? So do you know Pei Jie? Of course I know Pei Jie. He's super famous at our school. But he probably doesn't know me. They chatted a bit more, and after exchanging names, everyone started to get familiar. When they found out we were going to the military base, Zhuo Qingfeng and his friends asked to come with us. I'm dual-powered, wood and speed. Wei Liang has spatial ability. Shilei has super strength. We've got supplies, so we won't use yours. We just hope we can reach G-City together and help each other along the way if we can. Seeing Pei Yan frowning slightly, and apparently not wanting to take them along, Zhuo Qinfeng immediately stated their value. Since all four of them have powers, and they wouldn't use up our supplies, Pei Yan agreed to head to G City base together. After everyone got to know each other, Shen Nianan took rice and eggs out from his storage power. "Let's have fried rice with eggs tonight," he said as he looked at me. "I heard you're a food blogger, so you should cook." "I don't know how to cook." Shen Niansheng looked at me skeptically. I added another sentence. "I only handle eating and reviewing." Su Nianan looked a bit helpless. She was just about to cook herself. Over there, Xia Qianchen, who was eating instant rice, walked over. I can cook. Let me help you." Su Nianan seemed a little embarrassed. "I'm actually pretty good at cooking. Consider it my way of thanking you for letting us join." "Well, thank you for your help." Su Nianan couldn't refuse anymore. Xia Qianchen took the rice from Su Nianan. After quickly washing the rice, she put it on a simple stove to start steaming. "Once it's steamed and done, we'll stir-fry it." "Thank you, but there's no need." "By the way, what's your name? Su Nianan?" Xia Qianchen was about to continue talking, when Su Kin's next to them couldn't hold back anymore. "Nianan, come here for a second. I need to talk to you." She then looked apologetically at Xia Qianchen. "Sorry, Miss Xia. Our Nianan doesn't know how to cook. Sorry for the trouble." Su Nianan heard this and frowned slightly. "Are Kins and Nianan a couple?" "Yeah, we're engaged." "Oh, you two have a really great relationship." After Xia Qianchen said this, she went to the dining table and sat down to continue eating. Her eyes lowered slightly, making it impossible to see what she was thinking. Xia Qianchen really is a good cook. A plate of egg-fried rice made Pei Yan and the others show satisfied expressions on their faces. After the meal, everyone took out the map and planned several routes to the recorder base. The specific route would depend on the situation. They had to leave here as soon as possible. Although H City isn't as badly hit as other cities, it still has flooding. It's just not very serious yet. But you never know with natural disasters, so it's safer to leave early. After assigning people for night watch, I got clean clothes from Su Nianan and took a shower. In the middle of the night, half asleep, I suddenly heard someone shouting. I opened my eyes. Lack of sleep left me irritable. I opened the door with messy hair. I saw a candle lit in the living room. Several people had already been awakened. What happened? Just as I asked, I heard strange noises. What's that sound? Shen Jibai hurriedly came down from the second floor, speaking urgently. It's dangerous. I can sense a lot of zombies. And it seems like these zombies are fleeing. Just as he finished, a thunderous boom split the sky. Lightning seemed to tear the sky apart. Raindrops the size of beans pounded down at once. All the zombies are running away. Jifeng asked anxiously, Hey, Jay, what do we do now? We leave too. Pack up our stuff, and go with the others right away. The rain poured down in torrents. Within moments, water pooled all over the ground. Shen Jibai sat in the back seat, watching the scene through the car window. He furrowed his brow. Must be a natural disaster. Look, lots of rats are running out. It's because H City doesn't have earthquakes or other disasters, so the roads are still pretty passable. As we drove along, we saw a bunch of other cars fleeing too. All this commotion didn't attract any zombies. It seems survival is more important than food right now. Jifeng watched out the window and suddenly pointed into the distance. Look, that's a flight-powered ability user. It's amazing to be able to fly. What's so hard about that? As if you have flight powers, talking like it's no big deal. I'm not a flight ability user, but I can fly. Talking big without a care, huh? With Shen Jibai amplifying their psychic powers, the two SUVs rushed toward G City. The rain got heavier and heavier. Soon water levels kept rising. The cars could barely move. Jifeng floored the gas pedal, but felt it getting harder and harder. We can't keep going. Not only is the rain heavy, But water is thick on the ground too. If we keep going, the car might stall. The headlights cut through the water, but nothing could be seen ahead. Pitch black. Pei Yan cracked the window a little, and immediately heard the pounding rain and the howling wind. Rainwater poured in through the window crack. Jibai, is there any place nearby where we can take shelter? That base he mentioned can't be reached for now. After using psychic powers the whole way, Shen Jibai was totally drained now, his face looking pale. He heard Pei Yan's question and used his powers for a moment. Then, face white, he said, southeast. There's somewhere we can stay temporarily. Jifeng didn't hesitate, turned on the high beams, and drove southeast. After about 10 minutes of driving, they finally saw the place Shen Jibai mentioned. By this time, the water was up to their calves. The car stalled automatically. Jifeng called everyone, turned on the flashlight, and got ready to get out. I glanced at the muddy water, expressionless.
I said God says I can fly.
So I won't get rained on. Su Kins, who was just about to get out, saw this and was instantly speechless. I said, Su Yangxi, what's wrong with you? It's an emergency, you know? Why are you acting all mystical? Just as he was about to keep mocking me, the very next second, Su Kins's eyes went wide. She saw my feet slowly lift off the ground, and I floated out of the car. The flashlight beam pierced the rain, and with me floating, it looked especially eerie. More importantly, the pouring rain couldn't touch me at all. What are you spacing out for? Lead the way. Yes, right away. Why is he so submissive? He even subconsciously tried to please her. Wait, that's not the point. Why does he have to lead the way? Jifeng felt a bit resentful. This way, no, this way to fly. But he moved quickly. He reached out and said flatteringly. Right after speaking, Jifeng regretted it. Every time he met Peige's sister's gaze, he couldn't help but shrink back. The others looked at Jifeng and me floating in the air, all deeply shocked. They'd never heard of anyone with flying powers. Flying without wings, even? And why doesn't the rain touch him? Isn't that a bit unfair? The building Shen Jibai mentioned was a private 3-story house. The first floor seemed to be a mini-mart. Shelves toppled everywhere, and almost all the food and drinks were gone. Only some daily necessities were left. Everyone pulled down the rolling shutter. Then we all went up to the second floor together. I had just landed on the ground when several gold boxes were handed to me. What does this mean? I looked at Pei Yan in confusion. What does this mean? Make this a little cleaner. Brother Pei, make what a little cleaner. I ignored them. After the crystal core finished absorbing, I felt great and said calmly, it's clean and tidy in here. With the flashlight's beam, everyone could clearly see. Every piece of furniture here was spotless. Even the floor looked as if it had been scrubbed. The white tiles shone with a glossy luster. Su Yangxi, what is your ability exactly? Didn't I say it already? I can do a bit of everything. Just a little bit. I think it's only a little bit. Su Jins bit her lip. But what kind of ability even is this? You can both fly and clean. I heard Jifeng say that you also have a space ability. Is that a class 3 or 4? Maybe even class 5 power. Everyone else was curious about this too, so they all looked at me. The latter had a calm expression, sitting on the couch. Composedly, I'm probably a multi-series ability user. After regaining quite a bit of spiritual energy, I've made my rise. From today on, I won't need to please anyone anymore. The others didn't notice I was behaving differently. After all, in their eyes, I always seemed this arrogant. When did they ever see me pleasing anyone? There aren't many rooms on the second floor. Only 3 rooms. Fortunately, there are 2 more on the 3rd floor, and one of them is a master suite. There aren't enough rooms. Naturally, some of us will have to share. But now that I've risen, how could I agree to that? I cleaned up this place. Is it a problem if I take the master bedroom for myself? Everyone looked at Pei Yan. After all, I did clean up the place. That the gold boxes came from him. Before Pei Yan could speak, Shen Jibai, who's not very talkative, was the first to agree. I think it's fine. Su Nianan glanced at his friend. Of course, he knew Shen Jibai's reason for agreeing. Maybe for others, a cleaning ability seems useless. But for Shen Jibai, with his extreme OCD, it's like a godsend. Even the always aloof Shen Jibai has learned how to please others. Jifang saw I didn't mind either. Pei Yan saw no one objected, so he assigned a room. Su Jin saw this was now settled, and said unhappily, "There are 10 of us in total. 4 girls. He gets an entire room to himself. So doesn't that mean the 3 of us girls have to squeeze together in one room? What if I disagree with you guys?" Xia Weiliang and Xia Qianchen didn't answer. After all, they were just along for the ride with Pei Yan. This place was found using Shen Jibai's ability. I cleaned it up and Pei Yan provided the gold boxes. They don't really have a say. I crossed my arms and said indifferently, "You disagree? Then let's vote on it. If we vote, they'll all vote for you. Then stop complaining. There are 6 of them, except for a Su Nianan who hasn't spoken. The others already agreed." Su Jins wanted to argue more, only to meet my cold, dark eyes, and suddenly felt a chill, as if she had fallen into an ice cave. So cold she trembled. How could it be? How can one person's gaze be this terrifying? The momentum she'd been building up, and what she had wanted to say, changed as soon as she opened her mouth. "Fine, I'll squeeze in." I never said I couldn't. Her voice was pretty loud. But honestly, she's acting kind of timid. I was very satisfied with her attitude, and put my aura away. Then took the chance to order her to go to my room and run the bath. "I'm going to take a shower." Everyone else looked at me in shock, then looked at Su Jins. Even though they hadn't spent a day together yet, everyone knew Su Jins was always a pampered young lady, always bossing people around. The fact that she backed down was already shocking. But I even dared to push my luck. If they got into a fight, should they pull Su Jins away first? Or Su Jins first? As for me, well, she didn't dare to. Su Jins, whom everyone thought would fight back, still had quite a presence. And her voice was still loud. "Fine, I'll do it." But deep down she was still timid. Su Jins stormed up to the 3rd floor, her steps a bit hurried, almost like she was running away. Su Nianan looked at me, a bit of admiration in his eyes. Su Jins's temper was sometimes even too much for him. He didn't expect me to be able to handle her. After showering, I went down to the 2nd floor. Everyone else had finished organizing as well, and were getting ready to eat. Xia Weiliang and the other 3 were still separated from them. Because of the heavy rain, the temperature had dropped, so we decided to have self-heating hot pot for dinner. I sat on a single chair, smelling my self-heating hot pot, with my eyes lit up. The taste did not disappoint me, spicy and flavorful. The aroma was mouth-watering. Even though it was mostly vegetables, it was still delicious. Everyone else was eating just as heartily. After all, usually with self-heating meals, hot pot is such a luxury that we're reluctant to eat it. Just being able to eat enough in a day is already good. I was so excited while eating. I almost wanted to have another bowl right away. But thinking about the spiritual power in my body, I managed to control myself. Better to go kill some zombies first. By then, I could eat hot pot every day. After finishing the meal, all of this is precious nutrition. Pei Yan looked at the leftover hot pot broth I had, and frowned slightly. The look in her eyes meant she wanted me to eat it. Hot pot broth that was ignored before the apocalypse has become a rare delicacy afterward. Even Pei Yan and Su Jin's people who used to be rich now finish every drop. Honestly, it does feel a bit wasteful. I looked at the soup, really didn't want to eat it. I said with a hint of disdain, "I don't want to eat it." Pei Yan was disapproving, and was about to try to persuade me again, when suddenly a sound came from the side. If she doesn't want it, maybe I could eat it for her. Everyone instantly stared in shock at Su Jin's. I just think it's such a waste. It's doomsday after all, so we should cherish food even more. Su Jin seemed a little embarrassed too. If you want to eat it, just eat it. A look of joy appeared on Su Jin's face as she took the soup base from me and immediately tipped her head back to drink it. "So this is the kind of rich girl you really are?" I moved a bit away from her, slightly disgusted. No wonder you can't outdo the main heroine. Even leftover hot pot base from someone else can make you lose your composure. You really have no self-control. Lvls couldn't care less what others thought. After the apocalypse, he basically never feels full. Not a bit of fat left in his belly. He's hungry every night and can't sleep. Especially after using powers. It burns away even faster. So what's wrong with having eaten someone else's hot pot base? If zombies were edible, honestly, when you're starving enough, even zombies would die of hunger. After dinner, everyone felt more energized. They started discussing what to do next. The first person everyone looked to was Shenjibai. After all, he has psychic powers, and even if he only relies on intuition, what he suggests is usually pretty reliable. Shenjibai didn't use his powers anymore. He'd already used them up for the day, and now felt weak all over, his head spinning. He would need a whole night to recover. Pei Yan pondered for a moment, and said, let's head east toward Dongcheng first. There shouldn't be any flooding disaster there. And going to Dongcheng won't stop us from getting to the sacrificial camp. Dongcheng is fine, but how to get there is the problem. Our car definitely can't be driven anymore. If we wait for the water level to drop, who knows how long it will take. By then, we might run out of supplies. Pei Yan frowned slightly. So for now, we should mainly search for inflatable boats. We still have to get out of H City as soon as possible. Flooding disasters often bring bacteria and viruses with them. Xia Weiying listened to the conversation and couldn't help but speak up softly. Before he could finish, I spoke up even louder from the side, completely drowning out his words. Why bother with inflatable boats? If you all cough up some more crystal cores, I can make one happen. Shenjibai looked at me in surprise. Your power can even create lifeboats out of thin air. What do you care? Are you pitching in your crystal cores or not? I leaned back on the sofa with my arms folded, eyes calm. If a lifeboat is possible, of course we need it. They can't be stuck here. If all the zombies are wiped out, we can just go kill more. But if you die, that's it. The other 9 discussed it among themselves. There are 10 of them in total. If we can get regular-sized lifeboats, 5 people can ride in one. But for comfort, everyone agreed not to squeeze in like that. In the end, everyone was willing. So they totaled up how many crystal cores could be provided. Pei Yan decided 5 crystal cores per person to trade for 3 lifeboats. I agreed without hesitation. After I quickly absorbed all 45 crystal cores, I sat motionless on the sofa, just moving my lips, and said, God says there are 3 lifeboats in front of me. With everyone watching, a wave of energy swept the living room, and as expected, 3 lifeboats appeared out of thin air. Xia Weiying looked at me in shock. If those weren't lifeboats from some storage space, then what kind of power is this? Being able to make things happen by speaking? Xia Weiying looked at the person speaking and saw Ji Feng excitedly squat down next to me. This is not right. Shiji, I think your power can really be described as whatever you say comes true. Couldn't be more fitting. Say it, and it comes. So, can the food I like appear too? I want a plate of braised pork and some rice. The others looked at Ji Feng, who was sucking up, not wanting to watch. But honestly, we're just a tad envious inside. Who wouldn't want braised pork and white rice? I raised an eyebrow slightly. Surprisingly, these people actually have so many crystal cores left. Too bad we're too familiar. So it's not good to rob them. Alright, I took the crystal cores, brow finally relaxing. But I never keep any crystal cores. I just absorb them straight away. Compared to Shenjibai, who's barely finished absorbing his first core, since we started just now, my speed is honestly insane. Then I said, there's a bowl of steaming rice in front of me, and a plate of braised pork. The next second, right on the coffee table in front of me, there was rice and braised pork as expected. And they're still steaming hot. The aroma of braised pork was just mouth-watering. The sound of people gulping was super obvious. Ji Feng, who couldn't wait, lunged at the rice. Feeling everyone's wolf-like stares on him, Ji Feng quietly dumped the rice onto the plate and then started eating quickly in a corner. The fat and sugar in the meal blended perfectly, creating a sweet and savory combination of flavors, making Jifeng's eyes squint with delight. This is what life is all about. Starting today, with him, zombies don't exist. If no zombies, there's still him. Either zombies die, or he survives. Smelling the aroma of meat, everyone immediately felt hungry again despite being full. But thinking about their own supply of crystal cores, they gave up. Rather than just filling up, it's more important to upgrade your powers and keep getting stronger to survive in this doomsday. Once you're strong enough, where would you worry about supplies? Comparing it all, everyone looked at Jifeng and held back their inner desires. Pei Yan glanced at me with a complicated look, and I, feeling his gaze, immediately made my position clear. Even if you're my half-brother, there's no way you'll mooch for free. You want food? Fork over your crystal cores. Pei Yan looked a bit helpless. He wasn't that desperate for it, but my powers really are like speaking things into existence. Say it, and it comes. Yeah, you could put it that way. Looking at my skinny arms and legs, I thought I really needed to take good care of myself for a while. The original owner was 5'4", but weighed only 80 pounds. She was literally just skin and bones. I took one look at that face, and I didn't want to look again. Sujens, who had just finished drinking hot pot soup next to me, became excited immediately upon hearing this. Words come with power. So, if you say the apocalypse is over, then the apocalypse would be over. Theoretically, that's how it works.
But
Su Ning'an pressed for more details. But you need to have enough energy. I pointed at Jifeng eating in the corner. It's like his food. If he wanted a whole feast, obviously those few crystal cores aren't enough. Sujens lowered her head, a bit discouraged. So basically, it's impossible. The amount of energy needed to end the apocalypse. You'd have to collect every zombie crystal core in the world. But that's not really necessary. Even though ending the apocalypse is nearly impossible, having enough energy to make a vaccine should be doable. Pei Yan's dark eyes sparkled as she looked at me. These words gave everyone a new perspective. Xia Qianchen said excitedly, "That's right. As long as we develop a vaccine for the zombie virus, at least the survivors won't have to fear being infected again. The number of zombies won't increase anymore. Humanity can still be saved." Everyone instantly looked at me with shining eyes. Pei Yan summed it up. "I propose, from now on, let's not let him do anything dangerous. We prioritize protecting him, do you agree?" As soon as she said that, the people who had just treated me like a savior immediately avoided Pei Yan's gaze. Prioritizing my protection is fine, as long as it doesn't put themselves at risk. People come first, or they'll be doomed. These aren't self-sacrificing soldiers, willing to lay down their lives for the greater good, ready to sacrifice themselves. I snorted, "Just protect yourselves." "I don't need your protection, and likewise I won't protect you." So much for prioritizing my protection. I didn't take it seriously myself. Human nature is selfish. Even though I've spent a few days with Pei Yan and the others, and things seem to be going well, if something really happens, except for Pei Yan, I'm not sure I'd actually save them. Just as they thought, saving or not is always a calculation. At night, aside from the wailing zombies, I actually rested pretty well. After a night of heavy rain, the rain hadn't let up the next day. After everyone finished breakfast, they all looked outside through the second-floor window. The water level had risen a lot again. Out there, except for zombies, walking in the rain, you couldn't see a single person. Zhuo Qingfeng watched the scene and couldn't help but ask, "Do you think zombies can be drowned?" Before anyone else could answer, Xia Weiling's firm voice came over. No, instantly everyone turned to look at him. Zhuo Qingfeng quickly asked Weiling, "How do you know they can't?" I figured it out by observing. Then Xia Weiling paused and replied, "Did you forget? No matter if you cut off a zombie's head, its head can still stay alive. Even without a body, zombies with only a head are hardly dangerous. But that doesn't change the fact they're still alive. So what you're saying is, as long as the zombie's head isn't damaged, or the crystal core, right, because for zombies, in a sense, they don't age or die, they can even keep evolving. Isn't that immortality? If the first emperor knew immortality was like this, he wouldn't want it. If the zombie virus could make our bodies not mutate, and our minds stayed sane, maybe we'd be conquering the stars. Sounds pretty cool, fighting aliens. That sounds way better than fighting zombies. At least aliens aren't our own kind. Looks like this rain might last a whole week. We can't stay here that long. Jiu Tiancheng has already recovered today. He calculated yesterday. We've got just enough supplies for 1 week. But in reality, it won't go exactly as planned. Obviously, we can't go out today. The rain's too heavy. When the rain lets up, we can leave the day after tomorrow. But it'll probably be tricky. I can't sense anything further than that. After all, my mental power is only level 2. I heard level 3 is when abilities really change. Compared to levels 1 and 2, abilities will qualitatively improve. Looks like I need to reach level 3 as soon as possible. So, let's set out the day after tomorrow. Everyone okay with that? Nope? Yeah. It's not a good idea to look for supplies in this rain. I'll go check the first floor. I'll go too, let's go together. Pei Yan simply took Zhou Zhifeng and Su Nianan and went down to check the first floor. It had been too late last night, but it turns out the first floor was a little store. There were still some goods hanging on the wall. They went to see if there was anything useful. Some stuff was already coming in through the door cracks. A few shelves had fallen over and were bobbing up from being soaked. Rain was still loudly pattering outside, beating on the pull-down gate. The noise was even louder. And, in addition to that, there were zombies howling nearby. When the flashlight beam hit the floor downstairs, a cold wind blew through, and that pitch-black space was really creepy. Water was way too high on the first floor, so Pei Yan and the others ended up taking a lifeboat over to check it. As for supplies, the stuff hanging on the wall was pretty much useless. Backpacks, straw hats, water bottles, just daily items. Ji Feng exclaimed in surprise. Su Nianan nodded and waved his hand, putting all that stuff into the spatial storage. A level 1 spatial ability user has a really small storage space, only 5 cubic meters, so you really can't fit much in there. But they did end up with tons of clothes, pots, bowls, and other daily necessities. My group and I have been cooped up in this 3-story house. Fortunately, nothing dangerous happened. Early the day after tomorrow, I woke up and looked out the window. Sure enough, the rain had subsided. It had turned into a light drizzle. Pei Yan took the 4 raincoats she had collected and gave them to me and the others. Put them on. The rain is lighter now. It's time for us to head out. So ugly. But thinking about saving spiritual power, and that I still need a lot of it, I accepted it anyway. A wrinkled and ugly raincoat. The shutter door that had been closed for days finally opened. 3 lifeboats slowly drifted out. There were still a few zombies floating on the water. The scent of fresh humans immediately made their gray eyes seem to come back to life. Swollen even more from the water, the rotting corpses stood up, flailing their arms and running toward them. However, due to the resistance of the water, plus the fact that it was daytime, their speed wasn't fast. In fact, they were quite slow. My eyes lit up. Just as I was about to speak, I heard Pei Yan say. Before Pei Yan even finished her sentence, Ji Feng, Zhou Qingfeng, and the others all attacked at once. Finders keepers, whoever kills it gets it. Now that there are isolated zombies that are easy to kill, they naturally wouldn't let them go. I must kill more zombies when we see them later. That way, the rice and red meat will be secured.
Hey.
I've never been so excited to see zombies before. Thinking about it is actually a bit thrilling. They're coming. Don't steal my kills. This one strike is worth half a bowl of braised pork. As the lifeboats drifted all the way toward the East City, one after another, they encountered many zombies like the ones at the entrance. I realized that if I tried to speak to claim them, I wasn't as fast as them just attacking directly. God said, I have a sharp sword that can slay zombies. So light. Right now. Saving spiritual power is so easy to use. This is way too easy. Jifeng took out his old kitchen knife from Su Ning and, with one slash down, he realized he was wrong. These zombies' skulls were still just as hard. The zombies' combat power hasn't decreased, has it? Say it. The zombies that used to be in swarms were scattered by the flood. One here, one there, making it difficult for them to regroup. This actually made things easier for me. The group looked like they were just picking up crystals, swinging their blades down on each zombie. But except for me, the others didn't overexert their powers. They all killed for a while, rested, and then killed again, taking turns like this to avoid running into danger. After killing about a dozen zombies, they were just sitting down to rest when they saw my body fly up. I went to a zombie slightly further away from them, killed it, pocketed the crystal, and then flew back. The movements were clean and swift. It only takes a second to absorb it completely. Everyone else needs rest, but I don't. So all along the way, wherever I went, zombies died. The crystals looked as if they were free, staring at him. It was a real craving. There are many zombies ahead. Turn left ahead. Lots of zombies. When I heard this, I was so excited I didn't wait for Zhu Tiancheng's reply. I released my mental power. My eyes immediately showed joy. There are indeed a lot. You can sense them? Mental perception. What's so hard about that? Didn't I say? I know a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything? Mental type powers are a bit different from other powers. But I can't quite put my finger on how. I want to go there. Without waiting for them to speak, I immediately stated my intention. Jiu Tiancheng frowned in opposition. It's dangerous. That's the road to the hospital. If you ask where the most people are in the apocalypse, it's undoubtedly the hospital. Since the apocalypse began, everyone trapped in the hospital. Basically during the virus outbreak, those who were still in the hospital, none could escape. They all became zombies. I don't know how many zombies are at the hospital, but just thinking about it makes my scalp crawl. So what? I know your powers are great, and you absorb crystals quickly, but they will overwhelm you with numbers. Not to mention the streets surrounding the hospital. There won't be few zombies there either. It's very likely that before a person even reaches the hospital, they'll be killed by other zombies. And Pei Yan asked from the side, and what? And even if you reach the hospital, I can't imagine the density of zombies inside. On Jiu Tiancheng's usually indifferent face, there was now a serious and earnest look. And I have a premonition. The danger at the hospital isn't just because of the number of zombies. There should be other more dangerous things. As for what exactly they are, at least with our current strength, going there would definitely mean death. I didn't reply immediately, but my body floated up lightly. If you guys aren't going, then I'll go by myself. It's rare to come across such a good opportunity to increase my strength. I certainly won't let it go. Without power, you can't move an inch. That feeling of weakness and helplessness from when I first arrived a few days ago, I don't want to feel it ever again. Su Yangxi, don't be willful. I know you're highly skilled and brave, but Tiancheng has a point. Outnumbered by many, it's better to be safe than sorry. In the apocalypse, there's no shortage of anything, except for zombies. No need to worry about not finding them. Thanks for taking care of me these past few days. This is a thank you gift. But as for the decision I've made, no one can change it. Pei Yan still wanted to persuade me, but I turned my back on them, reached back, and waved my hand. My tone was light. We'll meet again. That figure flew further and further away. Jifeng became a bit anxious. Wait, Brother Pei. Seventh sister is really leaving just like that? Aren't we going to chase after her? I only got to eat my rice and braised pork once. What do you guys think? We're not going. She has a flight ability, but we don't. Not to mention, Ji Qiancheng said, that besides the zombies, there are other dangers. Of course, Zhuo Qingfeng had words he didn't say aloud. If they really went, that girl might not necessarily appreciate the gesture. Those black eyes were just too indifferent. He had always felt a sense of being slighted. It was as if in her eyes, he was like an ox or a horse, like grass or mustard. If they encountered danger, she might not necessarily step in to save them. Su Jin's hurriedly asked Black Brother, "What about us?" Although he had always been suppressed by me, for some reason, Su Jin didn't dislike me. Actually, deep down, he is someone who admires the strong. Before the apocalypse, Su Nianan was excellent in all aspects, a standout among the group of second-generation kids. After the apocalypse, he even awakened a rare space-type power. Having already had a good impression of Su Nianan, his liking deepened even more after the apocalypse. He always thought he quite liked Su Nianan, but now he realized that he likes me more now. Because in his heart, I am stronger than Su Nianan. What do you guys think? Pei, although he really wanted to go, it wasn't a decision he could make on his own. His friends had chosen him to be the team leader, so he naturally had to consider everyone's safety. Otherwise, if something happened, he wouldn't be able to forgive himself. Xia Weiliang looked nervously at Pei Yan's group. She naturally hoped these people wouldn't go. If they left, the powerful partners they just found, who also had decent character, would be gone. Not to mention Su Nianan is still here. Jifeng sat on the lifeboat. He quietly glanced up at the others. Of course he wanted to go. That's braised pork with rice we're talking about. Who could say no to that? But reason told him, this was a matter of life and death for everyone. You can't just make a decision so carelessly. That put Jifeng in a dilemma. He couldn't make either decision. Faced with this indecision, Jifeng simply chose not to decide at all. He threw the problem to someone else. Whatever you guys decide, I'll go along with it. Su Nianan, unlike Jifeng, immediately said, I don't agree with going over. Tianchen, what about you? Juyu Tiancheng frowned slightly. In his heart, there was actually something very odd that he hadn't spoken about. His psychic powers don't seem to work on me. He's already a level 2 psychic user now. Besides being able to sense a certain range of comfort, he can also sense how humans and powered people feel about him. For example, when Xia Weiliang and her group came before, he could feel that these people weren't a real threat to him, and they weren't coming with malicious intent. But as for me, he can't sense anything at all. It's like stagnant water, or like air, almost as if I don't exist. Like right now, he can only sense that if they go to the hospital, there's almost no chance of survival, even though I'm clearly a variable.
It feels as if I'm not even here.
He can't account for this variable. If it can't be computed, then it's uncontrollable. I don't agree either. No one really knows how things will end up. Pei Yan looked at Su Jin again. Su Jin bit her lip, then drooped her head dejectedly. I'll opt out of making a decision. His giving up surprised everyone else. No one expected him to give up, huh? They thought he'd firmly object to looking for me. After all, everyone thought Jiu Jins must really hate me. Turns out they were wrong twice. 2 voted against, 2 didn't choose, and 2 opted out of choosing. No matter what Pei Yan decides, it won't change the outcome. The man lowered his eyes slightly. The lifeboat turned to the left, going the opposite way from the hospital. The atmosphere instantly grew silent. Jifeng, oblivious as ever, asked Pei, Are you okay? I'm fine, but Pei is my brother. Even if we're not blood related, after so many years together, even a dog would get attached, let alone a living person. Everyone went quiet. If they saw zombies, they'd just silently kill them. The good mood from earlier was gone now. Meanwhile, I had no idea that my leaving made Pei Yan and the others feel down. Right now, I'm in a great mood. This road is the main route to the hospital. There are lots of cars. The heavy rain raised the water level, and all these cars are floating in the water now. A lot of them still had level 1 zombies inside, who have no intelligence at all. These level 1 idiots can't even open doors if they're locked inside. When they sense humans nearby, all they do is keep ramming the doors, trying to break them open. Hey there, I floated happily overhead, not missing a single car. Whenever I saw a zombie inside, I'd helpfully open the door for it, and then neatly dig out its zombie crystal core. And as soon as I got a core, I'd absorb it on the spot. So the more zombies I killed, the stronger I got, never feeling tired at all, like a perpetual motion machine. So satisfying after clearing out most of the road, once I finished absorbing all the cores. My whole body was overflowing with power. I was in a really great mood, but they're all too weak. Not a single one could put up a fight. Just a few meters more to the hospital's front entrance. I could see from afar. In front of the hospital parking lot, there were zombies everywhere, packed in densely. My eyes lit up. Just as I thought, tons of zombies. My hands sped up involuntarily. Right then, I sensed a beam of light waving around me. I frowned slightly, looking up toward the source of the light. In a residential building opposite the hospital, about the 12th or 13th floor by the window, 3 heads were poking out. One person was holding up a huge white sign that said SOS. Another was shining a flashlight at me, trying to get my attention. And the third was desperately waving at me. To save or not to save? That's not really a question. I glanced up at the people upstairs, then ignored them, and went back to clearing out the last few zombie-occupied cars. The 3 upstairs saw me, glance at them, but then act like I hadn't seen them at all, and immediately got mad. The middle-aged man holding the flashlight lost his temper, his mouth full of yellow teeth showing, still holding up the sign. The exhausted-looking woman put the sign down and gave the man a timid look. Hold on, he's not going to save us. So what now? The middle-aged man was about to explode from anger. He raised his hand and slapped her in the face. The other one was a woman, but clearly much younger than the haggard woman. She looked barely out of her 20s. What else can we do? If he won't save us, then he isn't leaving either. Brother, do you want to... The middle-aged man cheered up when she coyly called him brother, cheering up considerably, and pulled her into his arms. That bastard, clearing zombies all the way from the main road over. He really thinks he's something. I'll show him what a real beating from society is. The young woman gave him a flirty look, then walked inside to grab a phone. Most electronics are basically useless now. You could only use them to kill some time. After 3 months, even fully charged devices are dead. Hers was out of power, but there's always someone else's, right? The young woman took someone's phone and turned it on. Brother, this phone still has like 10 bars left. Should be plenty. No waste at all. So smart. The middle-aged man gave a lecherous grin. Charge my battery later. Okay. And we'll go down another floor. The young woman smiled shyly and handed him the phone. He turned on the music app, cranked the volume all the way up, and played a crazy party song, then tossed the phone at me while I killed zombies below. The phone volume at max. In an otherwise rainy and zombie-screeching empty lot. Was incredibly jarring. Level 1 zombies are super sound sensitive. Some that hadn't noticed me because they were farther away. Zombies of mine. Now all heard the noise and came charging at me. Thought the phone landed next to me. Seeing this, I finished off the last zombie inside the car. I looked up again at the building across from me. That man seemed to be waiting for my reaction. When he saw me looking over, he gave me a provocative smile. He was afraid I wouldn't see it clearly, and he even thoughtfully gestured toward me. I just smiled faintly at that. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen a fool daring to mess with me. The reason that middle-aged man was provoking me so much, besides the fact that I actually ignored someone in need, was that he had awakened a strength-based ability. Of course, even more important was that at the bottom of their building, there was a level 2 zombie. The man didn't know its exact location, but after clearing from the 33rd floor down to the 12th floor, he became increasingly afraid to go lower. This woman obviously has an ability, And it's a strong one. If I came here seeking revenge against him, whether or not he could kill me, if I ran into that level 2 zombie, it would end up in mutual destruction between his enemy and the zombie. He couldn't ask for anything better. Just as the middle-aged man was feeling proud of himself, full of arrogance, the next second, the smile froze on the middle-aged man's face. I was standing in knitter. Zombies from all directions, attracted by the music earlier, were rushing toward me with all their strength. I didn't move, only flew a bit higher. After making sure the zombies couldn't reach me at this height, I looked over there, lowered my hand and glanced at the still spectating middle-aged man. I gently parted my lips. God said, "Send the man before my eyes to me." The next second, the middle-aged man showed a look of terror. He felt a force constantly controlling him, pushing him toward the window. He was startled and instinctively grabbed the woman beside him. But he found that the force was enormous, dragging both him and the woman outside. The haggard woman was stunned upon seeing this scene, and quickly grabbed the younger woman with one hand and the cabinet door with the other. But it still did no good. The younger woman tried to shake old Wang's hand off, but how could she shake free from a strength-based ability user? The haggard woman saw the two falling toward the street, and couldn't help but feel a bit of satisfaction. Anyway, the man only stayed to either beat or curse at him. Anyway, I guess next time it'll be my turn to feed the zombies. In this life, to see your loved one die before you. The haggard woman couldn't help but smile. After the apocalypse, her eyes, dull as dead water, seemed to have light at this moment. She kept her eyes wide open, watching how that person died. What's happening here? What's going on? The man had never imagined that someone could control people out of thin air with a special power. He couldn't even picture it. That's why he dared to provoke me so recklessly. He was sure that no one could do anything to him. Amidst the man's cries, his body slowly landed beside me. Before he could move, I lifted my foot and kicked him hard. Guess it was just luck. The two of us landed directly on a car floating in the water. The noise immediately attracted the zombies who had just been drawn by the phone, trying to catch and bite me. The man didn't have time to speak. He quickly stood up, pulled out a steel knife he carried with him, and instantly killed the first zombie that approached. I stood on high, smiling as I watched the man kill zombies. As soon as he finished off the zombies, the golden box automatically flew into my hand, clearly intending to squeeze out every last bit of value from the man before he died, to drain his final worth. The man had awakened strength-type powers. After the apocalypse, he fought his way from the 33rd floor down to the 12th. He's got some skills. But eventually he'll run out of strength. As for the woman nearby, before the zombies could bite the man, he kicked the woman far away. He didn't do it to save her, but to let her attract a few zombies. That tactic worked. Some zombies, sensing the commotion, pounced over. The poor woman let out a scream and was promptly torn apart and killed by 5 or 6 zombies. Bright red blood flowed into the filthy water. The heavy scent of blood made all the zombies howl with excitement. Zombies crowded toward the man attacking him. The man's hand holding the steel knife was trembling. He killed zombies, crying in pain the whole time. Sorry, ancestors. Sorry I was wrong. Please, I beg you, have mercy. Just let me go like a fart. I put my sword away, arms folded across my chest. I have no such unfilial son like you. Please help me. As long as you spare me, I'm willing to do anything for you, please. I didn't respond. As the man grew weaker and saw an endless sea of zombies, he became furious out of embarrassment. You damned. Before he finished his sentence, a flash of swordlight passed by. The man fell into the water, eyes wide open. His body collapsed backward. His body tilted back. The last thing he saw in life was many zombies rushing toward him. A single corpse couldn't satisfy the zombies. Instead, it made their craving for human flesh even stronger. Luckily, I was flying high. No matter how much they jump below, they can't touch me at all. In fact, I don't even need to hold my sword. I just used my spiritual power to control it. The sharp sword darted back and forth in the zombie horde. Zombie corpses kept falling, like loot drops in a game. Each time a zombie fell, a crystal core flew toward me. I didn't store crystal cores. Basically, I absorbed them as soon as I caught them. Maybe the commotion was too big here. More zombies were attracted soon after. Especially loud. A unique sound pierced through the rain and reached my ears. I turned slightly and saw from the opposite building. A zombie actually jumped out. He jumped 3 meters high. And not just high, but far too. This zombie was male. At that moment, his face was twisted. Half his face was chewed off. Rotten meat wriggled with maggots, squirming in the decaying flesh and pale eyes. His thick lips let out a deep snarl. Only one arm was left after freezing. He rushed at me, face hideously contorted. I quickly dodged, letting my sword return to my hand. I was just about to move forward, when a gust of opposing wind mixed into the air appeared in front of me. I hurriedly twisted aside to dodge. But the wind mercilessly slaughtered the zombies next to me just a moment ago. A wind-type zombie. My eyes lit up for a second. This zombie was clearly different from usual. So the crystal core must be different too. The zombie seemed to notice my scornful attitude. A violent whirlwind instantly surrounded us. Soon the invisible wind in the air took on a barely visible solid form. The wind blades were strong and fast, and could also be controlled in direction. After I dodged the blades, they chased after me immediately. I stopped playing cat and mouse with the zombie, and instantly flashed beside it. The zombie moved quickly, using its wind powers to dodge, its body pretty slippery. But I was faster than it. In one swift move, a blue crystal core was flicked out by my sword tip. I sensed the energy inside the crystal core. Sure enough, the energy was about 10 times more than before. Feeling pretty good, I watched the zombie's corpse being eaten by the others, and calmly said, "Mess with me. You really hit a brick wall now." After fighting for a while, even though I wasn't tired, my stomach was growling with hunger. I was just about to put my sword away when that familiar light flashed over again. I looked up and saw that haggard woman holding up a white board. The words weren't SOS anymore, but there are a lot of crystal cores here. It's clear she knew I wasn't a saint. Moral appeals wouldn't work on me, so she could only try tempting me with profit. Just now it was obvious. Those powered individuals really liked crystal cores. "Are you good at cooking?" Even though we were far apart, the haggard woman felt as if my words were whispered right in her ear. She didn't care about my powers, and quickly nodded. Yes, I cook really well. My dad used to be a chef. My eyes brightened a bit. Now, since all flying powers only go up to level 2, and people can only fly 5 or 6 meters high, I flew directly to the woman's spot on the 12th floor. The woman felt overwhelmed inside, but didn't show it. Instead, she flattered, "Sir, do you need me to help you inside?" I flew right in through the window and touched down inside. I checked out the house first. Surprisingly, it was fairly clean. Noticing my confusion, the woman explained on her own. After the apocalypse, we moved from the 33rd floor all the way down, so all the rooms stayed pretty clean. I also cleaned regularly. "I'm Liu Gehang. Just call me Zhao Liu." I sat on a clean wooden stool. "Those two from earlier, are they? What relatives?" Liu Gehang hesitated. "That man was my husband. We originally lived on the top floor. After the apocalypse, he awakened strength-type powers." "And the other one?" As for the other woman, she was a college student from the 20th floor. Her family was left with only her, not infected by the virus. For survival, she submitted herself under my husband. "Oh. So I killed your husband. You don't hate me?" Liu Gehang's eyes were full of hatred. "Why would I hate you, sir? One wish he'd die. My family's vast assets were taken by him." Liu's House 14 was my father's lifelong work. Always had a good reputation. After he died, I was too incompetent. Couldn't manage it well. Only knew how to cook. Was taken from me bit by bit. Enough, I interrupted her. I'm not interested in your love-hate drama with your husband. What happened next? Just a bit of thought and you can guess. Where's the golden box you mentioned? In the room. I'll go get it for you. Liu Shuping hurried into the room. Came out soon carrying a small cardboard box. There were quite a lot of golden boxes inside. A rough count, easily over 100 here. We collected these on our way down from the 33rd floor. They all belonged to Wang Cheng. He had powers, but didn't know how to absorb from these golden boxes, so he just kept them. Until last month. He finally learned how, and started absorbing crystal cores daily to become stronger. He claimed he was a level 2 strength-type power user. But even if he's a level 2 mutant, he still wouldn't dare go down there. Because he said there's a dangerous presence below. At least one level 2, maybe even a level 3 zombie. So we've been staying on the 12th floor for several days now. No one dares to head down. I grabbed a handful of gold cores from the box at random and started absorbing them. Guixiang is genuinely afraid of Wang Cheng, fears him deeply from the heart. So to stay alive, he has to swallow his pride. Now such a beast is dead. Heaven has eyes? I immediately released my mental power to probe downward. But in the end, I was disappointed. There are indeed level 2 zombies. No level 3 zombies. But level 2 zombies will do. Still better than regular zombies. I'm not in a rush to kill that zombie. Under Liu Guixiang's shocked gaze, it took less than 2 minutes, and I had absorbed all those crystal cores. There's not much supply left here with Liu Guixiang. Only some open packs of biscuits remain. So what dishes can you cook? Sir, our Liu family knows how to cook from all 14 major cuisines. But mostly we specialize in home-cooked dishes. Our most famous dish is pickled fish. We also do various seafood dishes pretty well. Since this is a coastal city, seafood is everywhere. Lots of tourists come here. So my dad researched more ways to cook seafood. Eventually he earned unanimous praise from the diners. Sounds nice. From what you said, your dad seems like a really skilled cook. My skills are probably just a fraction of Dad's. Mentioning her father, Liu Guixiang's eyes dimmed. Liu Guixiang suddenly realized something. But Dad died in an accidental car crash. Otherwise, with Dad around, the Liu family's name would never have fallen. Have you ever thought your father's death might not have been an accident? Sir, what are you saying? It's just a guess. I've never considered it. Sometimes what you dare not imagine is the truth. It was an accident. Sir, do you mean... Her eyes instantly reddened. So I killed my own dad? I pity him. Didn't even know Dad was murdered. And still needed someone else to point it out. How could I be so stupid? Why didn't I think about it before? If I'd known earlier, she would have fought that man to the death, even if it cost her life. I don't really feel much for Liu Guixiang's pain. I only care about my own business. If you want to eat seafood, where would you go? Oh, by the way, can you make spicy crayfish? Liu Guixiang tried hard to control her emotions. Answered with a bit of a nasal tone. Yes, any dish my dad could make, I can make too. Just not as tasty as my dad's cooking. But there are no spices or ingredients here. So yeah, then let's just have a simple meal. After that, we'll go look for supplies. Yanling's power can easily conjure spicy crayfish. But I want the original flavor. The stuff made by Yanling's ability just doesn't interest me. So we still have to find real ingredients. Liu Guixiang was about to offer me the leftover biscuits, when suddenly the Sir said something completely out of the blue. God says there are 4 cream buns in front of me. And then 4 cream buns really appeared. What kind of power is this? Can actually conjure supplies out of thin air. Doesn't that mean you'll never starve? Eat up, rest after we're done. Then we'll go find supplies. Doesn't this Sir have the power to conjure things herself? Why bother going out to look for stuff? Liu Guixiang found it odd. Of course, she only wondered privately. Didn't dare ask at all. Liu Guixiang knows. The only reason I'm so friendly now is because she still has value. Once she loses her value, or the food tastes bad, she get abandoned without hesitation. She won't ever forget that the person isn't a good one. Cream buns, something we never gave a thought to before the apocalypse, are a luxury now. Liu Guixiang ate the soft, fragrant bread and appreciated being alive again. After eating, Liu Guixiang packed a bag with some clothes for changing and that half bag of biscuits, plus a bottle of water. She put those in too. Sir doesn't care. She can't afford to be careless. Sir, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's clear this building. Liu Shuping followed behind me, trembling. Wang Cheng used to have him scout ahead while killing zombies. The terrifying look of the zombies left him with deep psychological trauma. He glanced up at the person in front, so I wasn't planning to make him scout ahead. Liu Guixiang felt a huge sense of relief inside. The zombies on the 12th floor were all cleared out by Wang Cheng, so I went straight to the fire escape, planning to go downstairs. Pushed open the fire door marked with a warning sign. The door creaked. In a hallway silent except for breathing, the sound was especially noticeable. Liu Guixiang's heart raced. She clutched her clothes tightly with both hands, staring desperately down the hallway below. If a fight breaks out, if she can't win, she'd turn back right away. She'd rather starve than get bitten by zombies, to become a walking corpse. Just then, she saw the person ahead suddenly produce a sword. Cold light flashed, sharp. Liu Guixiang jumped in surprise, but didn't freak out. After the apocalypse, she learned to control herself pretty well, not to scream out loud. The sound of the door opening did attract zombies from downstairs. Like some switch had been flipped, lots of zombies started growling angrily together, like a pack of wolves howling in the mountains. Bang, bang. Some zombies, missing arms and legs, stumbled and ran upstairs. I didn't stop walking, kept heading down. When I saw the zombies, I threw my sword, controlled the sword with spiritual power. In just a moment, killed both zombies coming up. The crystal cores flew into my hand. The sword stayed floating in the air. Liu Shuping watched this and was shocked once again. He can't even count how many times he's been amazed by her in this short time. After all, he now understands. This person is extremely powerful. Super powerful. If I could always stay close to her, my safety would be secure. More importantly, she's a woman. After the apocalypse, even though Liu Guixiang hasn't been out to see the world, just in this building alone, she's witnessed moral collapse. Humanity lost? If a woman has no value, she becomes a commodity, or a plaything, like that college girl, constantly using her body to please Wang Cheng. Wang Cheng could be her father. In order to survive, he even called someone brother against his will. Liu Guixiang didn't look down on the female college student at all. She just wanted to stay alive. She didn't hurt anyone else. She only hurt herself. Other people had nothing to say about it. We went down to the 11th floor. I took Liu Guixiang straight to the hallway. This floor has 2 apartments per staircase. The units are directly across from each other. We could hear there were likely zombies inside the apartments. They kept ramming the doors with their bodies. The doors were shaking and wobbling. It seemed like they'd burst open at any moment. We walked up to one of the doors. I made a cut right in the middle of the door. The thick iron door actually split open in the middle. The zombies inside, with my help, immediately broke the door open. It was probably a family of 3. It was obvious that 2 of them were the parents, and one was a boy of about 10. All 3 of them were mostly intact, with no bite marks. It seems that when the virus broke out, none of the 3 had an immune system strong enough to withstand it, so they all turned into zombies together. I didn't feel much about it. After taking care of the family of 3, I went inside the apartment. There were no more zombies inside. Also, because that family mutated right when the apocalypse started, there were still quite a few supplies left in the apartment. As I was looking around the place, Liu Gihang had already found a bag and was gathering all the food that was still edible. Boss, there's still a lot of rice and flour here. What should we do? Liu Gihang hadn't had real rice in a long time. But even so, without water or fire, you can't cook it. But he couldn't bear to throw it away. Even without knowing what things are like outside, he knew that things like rice and flour were definitely scarce supplies. Just gather all the supplies up and put them in the living room. I'll take care of it in a bit. Yes, boss, I said as I started moving around the apartment. I ended up in what was probably the little boy's room. The room was a bit messy, covered in dust, and had a bit of a rotten smell. But I immediately spotted a snack basket on the study desk. I walked right up to it. There were actually quite a lot of snacks inside. These are spicy strips. They're really tasty. From the original owner's memories, I recognize the names of these snacks. This is jelly. This one is called crispy rice crackers. These are nuts. These are called crunchy ramen. There's quite a variety. I just hooked the basket on my wrist and opened a pack of spicy strips to eat. The spicy, savory flavor filled my mouth. This kind of spicy is really something. I'm not good with spicy food. I can't really handle it, but I still couldn't make myself spit it out. People in this era are amazing. How did they make food this delicious? I didn't find any more food in the other rooms. But I did find a locked box in the master bedroom. When I opened the box, I found it was filled with jewelry and gold. In the apocalypse, what use is that kind of stuff now? I felt discouraged all of a sudden. I stood up, not planning to take any of this gold or jewelry for myself. Liu Gihang, who had just walked in, was about to ask something when she saw a safe full of gold bars and jewelry. Liu Shuping's family wasn't poor, but he felt they probably weren't as rich as this household. And as a Chinese person, no one can resist gold. I went to rummage through the cabinets again. They were just full of clothes. Just then, my eyes suddenly lit up as I spotted some clothes with the tags still on. This stuff. What else do adults have? The clothes Shen Nanshen and the others gave me before were all practical items like jeans and casual pants. Liu Shuping struggled to pull her gaze away from the gold. My lord, I've packed up all the edible supplies. The seafood and vegetables in the fridge have all gone bad. They're no longer edible. I pointed to the row of clothes with tags still attached and said, pick out all these clothes that still have their tags on. Liu Gihang moved quickly, tidying up the clothes. There weren't many clothes with tags, and she finished packing them soon. Everything was piled up in the living room. This family actually had quite a lot of supplies. Vacuum-packed rice, 2 5-kilogram bags, plus some regular rice for daily meals. Liu Gihang packed them into clean plastic bags. Besides the rice, there was an open bag of flour, about 5 or 6 pounds left, along with half a box of rice noodles, a box of milk and bagged noodles, a large pack containing 2 bags of instant noodles, a small bundle of sweet potato starch, a bag of long-tu vermicelli, a jug of oil, and various jars of seasoning. With so much stuff, my lord, how are we going to carry it all? Didn't you take the gold? I glanced over, after setting aside a dress, and asked. I clearly saw just now. When Liu Gihang saw that gold, her eyes were literally glowing. With a wave of my hand, the things in the living room vanished into thin air. Hearing my question, she stammered in response. The gold is very heavy. I can't carry it. But for you, my lord, it should be just a wave of the hand. I didn't want to bother with it at first. But then I thought about wanting to taste Liu Gihang's cooking later. If you want to take that gold, I'll help you carry it. Liu Gihang thought for a moment and decided to go get it. It wasn't that she wanted it for herself, but rather she felt that the lord seemed to have no concept of money. People are indifferent to it now. Money is no longer useful, but gold and jewelry might become hard currency. The Lord might find a use for them in the future. Her mindset had shifted from just clinging to a powerful figure to wholeheartedly thinking and serving on my behalf. It was likely my mysterious and unfathomable methods that were unconsciously conquering her. After bringing out the gold, Liu Giheng noticed that I had changed out of my all-black sportswear into a white dress. There were no extra decorations, just some small exquisite design details that made it look simple and elegant. Below that were a pair of beautiful silver high heels. The heels were very high, about 7 or 8 centimeters. I glanced at her. Just these? Seeing her nod blankly, I waved my hand, and the gold disappeared instantly. Let's go, I led the way. Liu Giheng observed carefully from behind. Seeing that, even in such high heels, I still walked very steadily, she felt a sense of relief. Then, Liu Giheng's mouth hung open the whole time, pushing down floor by floor. No matter how many zombies there were, wherever that sword passed, none survived. Even that level 2 zombie from the 8th floor, that Wang Cheng had always been afraid of, didn't last more than 3 seconds under my blade. As for the other zombies, they were naturally finished in a single second. Liu Giheng went from trembling with a hunched back to standing tall and proud. Looking at those foul-smelling, hideous and terrifying zombies, she felt they weren't so scary anymore. Indeed, as long as one has strength, as long as one clings to a powerful figure, and that strength is great enough, even the most terrifying things are easily broken. We didn't see a single living person all the way down to the first floor. However, according to Liu Giheng, there were actually people here before. But because there was a very powerful zombie on the 8th floor, everyone was afraid to go down. When they ran out of supplies, they went upward and ended up as cannon fodder for others. I used my flame spirit to manifest a lifeboat. There weren't many zombies in the residential complex, so I cleared them out as I went. I hadn't even entered the hospital yet, but the gains from this building alone restored my power to about 10%. I'm glad I didn't keep following Pei Yan's group. They only go where there are fewer zombies, mostly sticking to rural towns and roads where people are scarce, and zombies are even fewer. They would never come to a place like the bustling downtown. By following their path, how long would it have taken me to recover this 10% of power? I'm going to the hospital across the street in a bit. Are you coming with me, or waiting for me outside? I've mostly cleared out the zombies around here. You won't be in any danger outside. If I really encounter a zombie, can I run toward the hospital? Run toward the hospital? After all, I'm fighting my way into the hospital from the outside. Liu Giheng replied hurriedly, My lord, I'll follow you, terrified that I might abandon her. The zombies at the hospital were indeed densely packed, swarming toward us. As I drove my sword to slay the zombies, I saw the envy and admiration in Liu Giheng's eyes from the corner of my eye. You should try it too. God says I have a light steel blade that can slay zombies. The next second, a steel blade appeared out of thin air and was handed to Liu Giheng. My lord, this is the apocalypse. Better to rely on yourself than on others. I won't protect you forever. Liu Giheng took the steel blade, stifled her urge to vomit, and stood up. There was a stray zombie in front of her. Its lips were gone, revealing teeth stained with a mix of blood and green bile. Half of its nose bridge was missing, and its left eye was a grayish-white, eyeball-less socket caked in a large glob of blood. It opened its mouth to bite at the zombie beside it, wallowing in rotten flesh and gore. The putrid stench was like rotten eggs left out for too long, pungent and nauseating. Even after being in the apocalypse for so long, Liu Giheng still couldn't stand the smell. She had always been forcing herself to suppress the reaction. Now that the zombie was close, the stench hit her like a physical blow to the head. She was almost unable to move. Just then, a calm voice came from beside her. Aim for the head and split it right down the middle, like cutting a watermelon. Liu Gehang couldn't help but let out a cry. Gripping the steel blade tightly with both hands, she sliced directly through the center of the zombie's face. She put all her strength into this blow, actually splitting the zombie's head in two, revealing the crystal core inside. Liu Gehang's eyes lit up, ignoring the hallucination that she had just committed murder. I reached out and took the crystal core directly. With a splash, the zombie's body fell into the water. Liu Gehang looked at the beautiful crystal core in her hand. Her eyes were red with excitement. She wiped the crystal core on herself, then handed it to me with sincerity. In the apocalypse, crystal cores are worth even more than gold. You should keep it for yourself. I glanced at the crystal core with disdain. It hadn't been cleaned off. After wiping it on dirty clothes, it actually got even dirtier. Liu Gehang's eyes got red again. Turns out you really are a good person. Why did he ever think you weren't a good person before? Obviously, you're just not good with words. Clearly, you simply hate evil. You're tough on the outside but soft on the inside. Looking at the grateful gaze from the person in front of me, I was completely confused. I don't quite understand all these annoying thoughts. I led the way up front. Occasionally, I let a couple of terrifying-looking zombies through, so Liu Gehang could kill them. Liu Gehang. At first, she couldn't help but feel physically nauseous. But then she learned to face these ugly zombies directly. And now she handled her steel knife with confidence. She sliced the zombie heads in half like watermelon. She used to be a chef, so she has enough strength.
Plus,
Her steel knife is extremely sharp. With strengths combined, it's even better. She became more skilled at dealing with zombies. In this huge hospital, there are 2 level 4 zombies. Compared to the flow of people, that number is still a bit low. But it's better than nothing. I raised my hand and took care of them. There are lots of buildings in the hospital. Even if I'm fast, I can't clean all of them in one day. After clearing 3 buildings, the sky was getting darker. Zombies at night are noticeably stronger than those in the daytime, though it doesn't really matter to me. But after a whole day of killing, it's honestly a bit boring. The residential complex across the street is a recently built upscale community. Except for the building where I live, I haven't cleaned out the others. I have to admit, there are really a lot of zombies in bustling downtown areas like this. My strength has recovered by about 10% now, so I'm not in such a rush to clear out zombies anymore. Let's go. With Liu Gehang, I took the lifeboat back to the other complex. I found a place to temporarily stay in an apartment on the 4th floor. Liu Gehang thought about the supplies we cleared out today and asked, "Sir, what are we going to eat tonight?" "Just boil some eggs for yourself. I'll eat snacks." The snack basket we found before the descent refilled itself after I ate quite a bit. "Come with me to the kitchen." Liu Gehang followed me to the kitchen. With just a wave of my hand, fire ignited on the gas stove. 2 eggs and a bottle of water appeared in the empty pot. No problem boiling eggs yourself, right? No, not at all. I carried the basket over to the dining table and started picking snacks from the full basket. Liu Gehang looked through the kitchen's glass door at that slender girl in a white dress and felt warmth in his heart. Eggs are everyday food, but he hadn't had them in a long time. After the simple boiled eggs were ready, the fire went out automatically. Liu Gehang took the eggs to the dining table. Today, with my help, he killed 5 zombies and got 5 crystal cores. Not a lot, but it's a huge step forward for him in the apocalypse. Not going anymore. My strength has recovered quite a bit, and I'm not bothered to go out and kill zombies on purpose anymore. You mentioned before you're good at cooking seafood? So I want to eat seafood. Where can we find some? We'd have to go to Y City. If I recall correctly, Y City is the capital of South Province. It's not in the same direction as East City and several other cities. I need to backtrack. Yeah, Y City has a booming tourism industry, and it's by the sea, with several ports. There's plenty of seafood. Before the apocalypse, my dad used to go there for supplies a lot. Just not sure if those seafood creatures have mutated, Liu Gihang thought about when Wang Cheng cleared out the 20th floor before, and heard that a resident there had a teddy dog. That teddy used to be tiny before the apocalypse, but became as big as a golden retriever after. But aside from getting bigger, the teddy didn't develop any special abilities. Seafood should be similar, right? Crawfish turn into huge lobsters. As for dogs, if they can't protect themselves in the apocalypse, they can only become someone else's food. The couple on the 20th floor kept struggling with whether to eat their dog. In the end, Wang Cheng roasted it. I took a bite of instant noodles and spoke while chewing. Apparently, South Province's base is built in Y City. Rumor has it the ocean creatures all came onto land to hunt humans. Liu Gihang's face turned pale. He was only thinking of old foods getting bigger. But what about the carnivorous marine creatures? He kept imagining old foods growing larger, but didn't think about those carnivorous sea animals. Sharks and whales, for example? Seeing them even before is scary enough. After the apocalypse, Liu Gihang couldn't imagine how massive they'd become. Even teddy dogs can mutate to the size of golden retrievers. But so what? No one can stop me from eating what I want. Yet Liu Gihang sensed an aura of confidence and dominance in that. I glanced up at him. Once I finished the instant noodles, in a good mood I started picking out the next snack from the basket, looking for which one to eat next, with an almost childlike vibe. But only Liu Gihang knows just how strong I really am. That's right, even if it's sharks, or whales, those sea creatures, even if they all come ashore to hunt humans. So, what? In front of me, it's just a matter of 1 second or 3 seconds. Level 1 zombie, 1 second. Level 2 zombie, 3 seconds. Yu Guixiang carefully finished the 2 eggs, got clean bed sheets and covers from me, and cleaned the whole room thoroughly. Especially made the bed neat and clean. Everything is tidied up, ma'am. Okay. Go to bed early. Tomorrow we go to Y City.
Yes.
Tonight is much quieter. It's Liu Gihang's most comfortable sleep since the apocalypse began. The most peaceful night. Not a single disturbance all night. After a simple breakfast of eggs and milk, the two went downstairs to leave. Just as they exited the residential complex, they saw a large area of red from afar. Looks like about 5 lifeboats, each filled with people. They're all wearing matching combat uniforms and holding guns. One person stands at the front, holding binoculars. There are 2 women in front of the captain, each holding a steel blade in hand. Looking around, there are no zombies in sight. Still no zombies. This is a top hospital in H City. That's really weird. Captain, who are those 2 women? A man next to the binoculars, tall with long legs, sharp features, standing straight, glanced over toward us. They're the military from South Province's base, codenamed Wolfgang Special Forces. There are 10 of them total. They were ordered by the base to serve as the vanguard and clear a path at the top hospital to check on the situation. They expected the mission to be a deadly one, but the closer they got to the hospital, the fewer zombies they actually found. That's just bizarre. Liu Gihang got nervous, gripped the steel blade tighter. Liu Gihang can't see the distant people clearly, but I can see everything perfectly. According to the original owner, these people are called soldiers. Just seeing their uniforms, every Chinese person feels reassured. They stopped and didn't drive the lifeboats forward anymore. Waited until some people burned out. Seeing their uniforms, Liu Gihang got excited. It's the reinforcements, the rescue team. They're here to save us. That side sped up toward us. The 2 sides finally met. The captain at the front spoke first. Hello, comrades. We're the Wolfgang Special Forces. I'm Captain Hu Yigang. Captain Uncle. Hello, we are residents of this residential complex. Liu Gihang pointed at the neighboring complex, and we're heading to South Province. What's the situation at the base? Is there plenty of seafood? The front part was normal, but the bit about seafood was odd. And the person in front looks nearly 40, And he's calling a 28-year-old guy uncle. Really? But he's used to it. More importantly, the person before us. He thought he was seeing things from afar. But now it turns out to be true. Wearing a white dress, with high heels on her feet, delicate raindrops fall on me, seeming to land, but somehow not really. Because my clothes aren't even wet. I just took a moment to sort out my feelings. Look at me next to Liu Giheng. There are quite a few people with special abilities at the base. Safety can be somewhat guaranteed. If you want to go to the Southern Province base, you can wait until we've completed our mission. We'll take you back. Or wait until our colleagues arrive later. You can go back together with them. Liu Giheng looked at me. She didn't respond. Whether to go with the soldiers isn't up to him. I glanced at them. You're here to clear the way, right? Are you looking for something at the hospital? Maybe I can help. Wu Yigang was surprised by my sharpness. He was amazed that I guessed their mission. He quickly asked, "Comrade, do you know what's going on with this hospital? Why are there so few zombies? Everywhere we look, there isn't a single zombie in sight. Just now, as they came along, they saw lots of zombie corpses. It's likely they all drifted over from here." I looked innocent. I don't know. I'm just a resident of this neighborhood. There used to be a lot of zombies. I didn't dare go outside. But lately, there don't seem to be any zombies. That's why I came out. Hu Yigang keenly noticed that when I said I didn't know, Liu Gihang beside me momentarily failed to hide her emotions. They definitely know something. They're just not saying. Do you really not know anything? People suddenly disappeared inside the house, without hearing any sounds. No, Hu Yigang was already sure. This girl is definitely hiding something. He thought for a moment and said, "The road back to the base is dangerous. Do you want to wait until we've completed our task and go back with us?" We thought about it too. I want to leave within the next 2 days. Can you finish your mission in the next couple of days? If someone protects me, and I don't have to do anything myself, wouldn't that just be enjoying the ride? I'm not someone who likes hard work. Quite the opposite. I really love comfort. A while later, Hu Yigang said, "I'm not sure, but soon I'll inform my colleagues. They should arrive a bit later. When the time comes, you can choose to leave with them too. Since someone's protecting me," I took out a small vine stool from my space and sat down. Seeing this, Liu Gihang next to me hurriedly took an umbrella from her backpack and held it over me. Next to Hu Yigang stood a girl with a binoculars slung around her neck, just barely in her early 20s. She didn't have the intimidating military vibe. Instead, she looked fair and delicate, totally like a pure and harmless college girl. He couldn't help but step over and start a conversation. Fei was genuinely curious about this middle-aged woman's look. He even felt like he was seeing a servant from the Qing Dynasty palace. "Excuse me, are you guys a master servant time travel team building group? Or are you mother and daughter?" I haven't even spoken yet. Liu Gihang quickly waved her hand to deny it. "Don't say that. How could I possibly have a daughter like her? I'm just her servant, that's all." She thought for a while. Liu Gihang couldn't come up with the right word. Damn, I was just speculating. And she actually admitted she was a servant. And what's with this master title? You two, one master, one servant. Don't tell me you really time traveled from the Qing dynasty. Hu Yigang saw they were unwilling to reveal anything, and didn't continue asking. He hadn't forgotten his current mission. "You guys follow us. We're heading into the hospital now." Wu Yigang turned back and informed them. His voice was calm. "Everyone has a target. The hospital is on alert. Move out. Everyone." Returned to the lifeboats and drifted into the hospital. It was extremely empty inside. Only various cars and electric vehicles floating on the water, zombie corpses, and lots of unknown objects. The lifeboat team moved slowly. My boat basically switched to senior sightseeing mode. Liu Giheng stood next to me, holding an umbrella for me. People might think I was some rich lady on a lake tour. Every member of the Volfang Special Forces was on high alert. But once they got to the outpatient building, everyone collectively widened their eyes in shock. Rows of zombie corpses lay on the ground. So clean it looked like a 5-star cleaning crew had just mopped the place. Li Pu's mom opened the door for Li Pu. This should have been a zombie hotspot. But apparently the live zombies just all quit at once. Hu Yigang's eyes went wide, looking just like an owl. Even at the South Province base, giving it their all wouldn't have made it this easy. It's not that it's impossible, just that the payoff isn't worth it. The return is way out of proportion to what you put in. Dangerous places like this, usually you wait until you're much stronger, before even considering attacking. They only came here out of necessity this time. Some research talent at the base needs a lot of high-end equipment. Ordinary clinics don't have this kind of stuff. Only top-tier hospitals do. As for why not go to a hospital in Y City instead of coming to H City? After analysis, hospitals in Y City are even more dangerous. H City is somewhat better compared to Y City. As for smaller cities, it's not that they don't exist. They're just way too far from Y City. Who knows what could happen during transport? All in all, they chose H City. This hospital, everyone paired up in twos, and did a full sweep. After pairing up, they spread out to search the outpatient building. Wu Yigang and Fai Fai made one team. He turned to me and asked if we wanted to follow them, or do our own thing. Don't worry. If we're in danger, we'll call you. Okay. I was not shy at all. Wu Yigang gave me a long look, gestured, and went off to search with Fai Fai. This outpatient building has 9 floors in total. They searched floor by floor and found there really wasn't a single zombie here. They couldn't even find any supplies. No doubt about it. Somebody else had already cleared out this hospital before them. So, did the stuff they wanted already get taken? After all, besides drugs and medical equipment, there's nothing else worth coming for. The payoff really is too low. Could there be some other big force besides the South Province base? Some other unknown major faction in the South Province? The Chinese and Western pharmacies are out of meds. Wu Yigang thought about their purpose here and led us straight to Building 1. Building 1 is right next to the outpatient building, and that's where the equipment they wanted was. But just like the outpatient building, it was empty and the equipment was all gone. This whole trip ended up a waste. They headed to the inpatient building. That was empty too. Just as Hu Yigang thought the hospital was completely vacant. They arrived at the 4th building, administration, and finally saw some zombies again. While killing zombies, Fai Fai asked the captain, "What now?" There were fewer zombies in the administration building, but even a few is a lot. They were after the zombies. Honestly, bro, they just want the crystal cores. Cleaning this place up isn't going to bring any extra benefits. If they're unlucky, they might stumble into some hidden trouble. Definitely not worth it. Let's go. Hu Yigang's group killed zombies as they pulled back. Soon enough, they made it back to the lifeboat and quickly left the hospital. After leaving, there weren't any zombies outside either. Safe for now. Hu Yigang frowned slightly. There must be some other large faction in South Province. And we don't know a thing about them. They must be really powerful. Medical equipment and stuff like that is totally useless for regular people. Liu Gihang heard this and felt a little guilty. Still, she thought, how could Yu Yurong have some big faction? All she's got is the master. Those meds and equipment had long ago been put into her master's storage space. If the Wolfang unit had come a day earlier, they might have run right into her master. I was honestly a little evil, watching Wolfang soldiers speculate endlessly about all sorts of conspiracy theories, and I stayed silent. Change of plans. Let's head back to base first. Wu Yigang made the call, and nobody objected. After all that running around all morning, it was almost noon. Since it's not dangerous here, everyone just found a spot out of the rain and got ready to have lunch before moving on. The rain had already lightened up quite a bit. It should stop by tomorrow at the latest, which for humanity counts as good news. Hu Yigang's team has a spatial ability user. That guy looked a bit dark-skinned and flashed a mouthful of big white teeth when he smiled. His features were pretty average, and he looked honest and simple.
He took out their prepped lunch from his storage space. Lunch
was rice wraps, lettuce wrapped around rice balls, with some fish or shrimp inside. Actually, it was pretty nice. They'd originally prepared 2 rice balls per person, But now there were more people. So Liu Gehang and I had to share some. Hu Yigang's stomach growling, looked determined. Give my portion to them. The rice balls are as big as a woman's fist. If a girl has a small appetite, it's definitely enough to eat. No need, Captain Hu. We have food. The next second, Hu Yigang saw me wave my hand, and a pile of stuff suddenly appeared on the lifeboat. His eyes lit up. Space-type superpowered person. This is an extremely rare superpower. Although I can only store things for now, that alone is already amazing. Especially for their kind of military unit, which often needs to carry out missions. If they have a space-type superpowered person, it's really convenient. Liu Gehang set up a small pot on an iron rack. She randomly poured bottled water into the pot. She put the lid on. Just as Hu Yigang looked confused, a ball of fire appeared out of nowhere, burning under the pot. He looked at me, and his eyes got even brighter. Fire-type superpowered person. Dual ability superpowered person. Anyone in the base who has dual abilities is definitely a top expert in the base. Though upgrading needs double crystal cores, but having an extra superpower means an extra trump card. When fighting, whether against people or zombies, there's more possibilities. Another chance to survive. The others stopped eating rice balls as well. Seeing this scene, everyone looked at me, a bit surprised. Fi immediately invited me. Miss, do you want to join our bases? Military unit? Special treatment for beauties. Fi, watch your language.
Okay.
Comrade, do you want to join our base's troop? Great benefits. Even get assigned a boyfriend. Fi goes with the flow. Changed it here, but over there she slipped in something extra again, huh? But Hu Yigang didn't say anything more. Fi is young and energetic. That's perfectly normal. No need for me to join. But I heard your base is close to the port, right? I'm really interested in the seafood there. Just as I was talking, a delicious smell floated from the air, attracting everyone's attention. Liu Gehang put instant noodles into the pot of boiling water, then added the seasoning. Also put in eggs and sausage. The bubbling sound of the water made their stomachs growl too. I didn't have time to care about the seafood addiction, and immediately focused on the pot. After cooking for a while, Liu Gehang used chopsticks to put the noodles into bowls. The eggs and sausage were all put into my bowl. You should add an egg and sausage for yourself too. I originally prepared eggs and sausage for 2 people, but now it smells so good. I can't bear to give the food in my bowl to anyone else. I took the big bowl myself, took a deep breath. Wow, these modern seasoning packs really are amazing. Using chopsticks, I picked up a bite of noodles and drank it into my mouth. A fresh, spicy flavor exploded in my mouth. Liu Gehang truly deserves to be a chef. The instant noodles were cooked just right, not soft at all, very chewy to eat. I devoured the noodles like a storm, and all the frustration about coming to this world was long gone. Why didn't I come sooner? Seriously. Fi takes a deep breath of the tempting aroma, takes a bite of the bland rice ball, eyes filled with tears. For him, being able to smell instant noodles is about as rare as things from a previous life. Extra large and extra mild instant noodles. In this world, they've become legendary treasures, but they really do smell amazing. After slurping up all the noodles, he let out a satisfying burp. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed a group sneaking sniffs. Feeling pretty upbeat. I'm unusually generous today. Do you guys want some? We still have more over here. After hearing my invitation, quite a few people secretly swallowed, but still firmly refused on the surface. No, we have our own food. And we can't take even a needle or a thread from others. After lunch, Hu Yigang and his group saw Liu Gehang using bottled water extravagantly to wash the pot, and felt a bit defeated. Isn't it raining? Isn't there fresh rainwater? Why not use it? They guessed the reason for not using it. She must have a lot of supplies. People with plenty of supplies usually are strong. Because unexpected things happened, Hu Yigang's group hurried back to the city. They took the same route back to the base. They had already checked this route on the way here. Whenever they encountered zombies, one shot took care of them. If one shot wasn't enough, they shot again. From H City to Y Town, Wu Yigang's group endured a lot. Not because it was dangerous, but at every meal, they ate dry, tasteless rice balls. While we ate all kinds of delicious food, their tears almost flowed straight into their mouths. Luckily, they wiped quickly, so no one saw. Once they reached their own territory outside the city, Hu Yigang and crew were even more familiar, avoided all the dangerous spots, and soon returned to the Southern Province base. The Southern Province base is built near the port, or rather along the coast. A huge area is divided out. No doubt it's dangerous here, because it's very close to the sea. But even though everyone knew they still built here, naturally there were reasons. If the base wasn't built here, to block sea creatures from invading land, people living on land would be even more endangered. Only by building here, can we cut off sea threats right away? We keep them from coming ashore here. Otherwise, humans struggling to survive would face even more danger. The base is built very solidly. All walls are made of steel and metal. The entrance for humans faces away from the sea, the gate facing the sea. Instead of a gate, it's really a battlefield. The base is built at a high elevation. This design was originally to defend against the sea. Who knew it would help against today's flood disaster? Actually, it works out well. Once inside the base, there's no need for lifeboats. I'm walking in high heels, wearing a beautiful white dress. This would have seemed normal before the apocalypse. But now, with my clean appearance and attendant with an umbrella, I look just like a wealthy heiress on parade. I'm attracting plenty of attention. There are lots of people at the base entrance. I instantly pulled all eyes towards me. Not far away, a young man in his early 20s just finished a trade, looked up and saw me in towering heels. Is she crazy or something? A guy nearby muttered in a low voice. Couldn't hide his genuine envy in his eyes. In the apocalypse, anyone who dares to dress like that either stands at the top or has backing so strong it's unbelievable. Ordinary people just don't have the guts. Envy is envy, but he still mouths off anyway. The guy quickly returned to his place. In the little kitchen, another guy was cooking seafood porridge. Looking truly miserable, the guy walked into the kitchen. Bro, guess what I just traded for? You'll never believe what I saw. Hearing his words, Bro immediately checked his hands. Instant noodles? You actually got instant noodles. You eat the porridge. I'll eat the noodles. No way, bro. Let's split it half and half. The guy refused right away. After quite a tug of war, in the end, Bro, as the boss, got 7/10 of the noodles. The remaining 3/10 went to his buddy for boiling. Only then did Pei ask Joyu, what was it you just said you saw? Bro, I saw a woman at the entrance. You would never guess what she looked like. What could she look like? 2 eyes and 1 mouth, right? She got an extra eye or something? What is she, the 2-eyed god? Pei's eyes was still on the noodles in the pot, casually answering, come on, give it a real guess. Before Pei could keep guessing, Joyu couldn't hold it in and spoke up. That woman was wearing a beautiful white dress, high sky-high heels, with a middle-aged woman holding an umbrella for her. She looked totally clean, like some heiress on parade. Has she lost her mind? I tolerate the dress, but she even wore heels. That's basically risking your life to go for a stroll. Pei has seen plenty of women at the base, whether soft and gentle or battle-hardened. At most, they're just cleaner. Even if someone dares wear a dress, it's always the most conservative, covered-up kinds. No one dares dress like that, unless asking for trouble. After the apocalypse, women without power are easily turned into playthings between men. There are plenty of women in the base who deliberately dress old and ugly. Isn't that the truth? I thought so too. She's with a squad. Must be the daughter of some base leader, Pei said enviously. I used to think I was lucky to be born into my family. Now I realize that was naive. People born smart these days are truly blessed. As they talked, Pei couldn't help but think of his own half-sister. She's socially anxious, and so petite. She probably couldn't survive. Even if she does, she'd likely end up prey for bad people. I was in the ID registration hall. Got my entry-exit permit recorded. It's pretty simple. They gave me a smartwatch. Scan it when entering. The water, power, and network are all available in the base. But, as I think, using them requires paying a fee. After filing the paperwork, Hu Yigang and Fai Fai brought me and Lu Geheng to the adjacent registration office. This part is for registering superpowers. They assess your abilities and assign a suitable room. After Hu Yigang explained everything, he told the staff, Su Yangxi, dual space and fire abilities. Do you have any other powers? I shook my head. Hu Yigang thought I was probably hiding something, but he had no proof. Then just register these two. The staff got really excited, eyes shining as he looked at me. Miss Su, please show us your abilities. As you wish. I casually made the pen holder in front of the staff disappear, and then brought it back. A ball of flame appeared in my palm immediately. The staff was extremely excited. You're really a dual ability user. Now our base has another expert. The others handling business here were amazed by the scene. Some quietly let go of their dark intentions. Some wondered if they could cling to a powerful person. Everyone had different thoughts. I ignored all these glances. Envy, jealousy, and hatred. Many even wished they could kill me with just a glare. But this is just the beginning. As for Liu Geheng, she doesn't have any abilities. She knows some cooking skills. She can do cleaning, but nothing else. If he's with me, he can naturally stay in the same place as me. After asking about my requirements, the staff handed me the key. Wu Yigang glanced at the address and said, "Let's go. We'll take you there. We have to report back soon as well." Thanks. At the base entrance, Hu Yigang had the teammates except Fai Fai head back to report first. We got onto Hu Yigang's military off-road vehicle. Along the way, Fai Fai gave me a very detailed introduction about the situation in the base. For example, there are several trading posts in the base, which serve as simple markets. Although several have been set up, the busiest one is still at the base entrance. Trading goods is very simple. It's basically bartering. The currency used is crystal cores. Gold is also useful, but it's not worth much. A lot of gold can only be traded for a little bit of supplies. Compared to other jewelry or money, gold holds its value. The base officials also have their own section in the market, where you can exchange supplies officially. But the officials only accept crystal cores. The amount of supplies you can get for one crystal core is listed at the exchange location. Seafood, which I've always wanted to eat, is the least valuable here. After all, they frequently battle with marine creatures, and there's simply too much seafood to eat. They even get sick from eating too much. Unfortunately, there aren't many flying ability users in the base, so trading supplies with other places has a high time and manpower cost for transportation. As a result, except for seafood, the prices of other supplies have skyrocketed. Apart from the markets, there's also the task hall. As the name suggests, the task hall is for assigning and taking tasks. Everyone can take tasks based on their ability level to earn money or supplies. Everyone can also assign tasks depending on their financial resources. Everyone can assign tasks based on their financial ability, matching appropriate tasks. This is the busiest place in the base. Every day, people rush in and out of the task hall. While talking, the car arrived in front of a Western-style house. The streets here were unusually clean and tidy. Many mutated flowers were planted along the streets, each competing for beauty. They looked nice enough, but there was always a bit of a creepy vibe to them. As I looked at them, Hu Yigang explained, "Don't worry, the plants grown inside the base are all safe. Given my requirements, my house is very close to the battlefield. This is a 4-story duplex villa. The first and second floors are for one family, with a small yard on the first floor. The third and fourth floors are for another family, with a small rooftop terrace on the fourth floor. I chose the first and second floors. It's more convenient for coming and going. Originally, with my dual system abilities, I wouldn't have been able to live in such a nice house. It's not that I lack the strength, but rather that I haven't made a contribution to the base yet. However, the base is in desperate need of experts. and they want to win me over to stay in the base, so they don't bother about small matters like food and housing. They just want their investment to succeed. Even if it doesn't, they don't lose anything. In short, you might profit, but capitalists never lose. After dropping me off at the place, Wu Yigang and Fei Fei exchanged contact information with me, and then hurriedly drove away. Liu Gihang used the key to open the door. The yard was overgrown with weeds, and the inside was full of dust. It looked like no one had cleaned it in a while. Just as I was about to speak, I saw Liu Gihang roll up her sleeves and say with full energy, "Milady, you rest first, or go for a walk. I'll take care of this place, and I guarantee it'll be clean spotless." "All right, then I'll go for a walk." I didn't refuse, although I could make the house clean with a single sentence. As a capitalist now, I really shouldn't be too nice to the workers. Otherwise, they'll just want more. They'll get ahead of themselves. I need to learn to CPU them, letting them know that by giving them work to do, I'm already a very kind boss. I left the necessary items for Liu Gihang, checked the electronic watch on my wrist. It was only 10:10 a.m. It's still early. I can go to the market to trade for some seafood. Tomorrow I'll go to the battlefield to catch live ones. Slaughtered and eaten fresh, they will surely taste amazing. From where I live to the base gate, it's actually quite far. If I walked, it would take about an hour. Fortunately, there's a ride-hailing service set up everywhere in the base. After operating the electronic watch for a bit, I clicked the ride-hailing service. After waiting at the door for a while, an electric tricycle appeared in front of me. Seeing me, the young man's eyes widened, and he even started to stutter. "Milady, did you call for the ride?" "To the largest market." "Yes, milady." Getting in and feeling the drafty tricycle, I felt in a somewhat good mood. The young man started the tricycle, speeding along the way.
He didn't dare have any improper thoughts about me.
Anyone who could live here and dared to dress like this must be very strong. Feeling the sea breeze, I asked him if the seafood in the base was fresh. Very fresh. Mostly from those that die in battle with marine creatures every day. If no marine creatures attack that day, then no one in the base goes out to fish. Firstly, it's dangerous, and secondly, everyone is tired of eating it. Besides, it's fine for ability users. They have strong physical fitness. But for ordinary people, eating too much seafood isn't good for the body. Seeing that I was quite approachable, the young man suddenly opened up. Without me having to say much, he spilled everything like beans, talking about various happenings in the base. I must say, it was quite an eye-opening experience. The young man drove fast. There weren't many cars on the road, and we arrived at the market quickly. There were people here with all sorts of expressions on their faces. Since the mission hall was right next door, many people who had just handed in their missions would come straight to the market to trade. When I appeared, it unsurprisingly attracted quite a few looks. After finishing the instant noodles, Brother Pei looked at the leftover pot of seafood porridge and felt that things couldn't go on like this. So he went out with Zhou Yu to the mission hall to pick up tasks. He is a speed ability user, and Zhou Yu is a water ability user. To be honest, speed ability isn't very useful in the other world. At most, you just run faster than others when escaping. As for water ability, it's actually quite important. But it just so happens that the South Province base doesn't lack water. After all, it's right by the sea. So the two of them had been muddling through in mediocrity. They couldn't take on missions with many high-grade crystal nuclei, and they looked down on missions with few nuclei. They were truly overestimating themselves. Now, after being humbled by the seafood, they finally recognized reality and planned to rely on hard work to get rich. Just as they arrived at the mission hall, Zhou Yu's sharp eyes caught a glimpse of white. Looking closely, "Hey, Brother Pei, look, it's that woman. Isn't that the crazy woman we just ran into?" Brother Pei was calculating how many missions he needed for his ability to reach level 2 when he was pulled by Zhou Yu to look not far away. Wow, someone actually dares to dress so dangerously. Look at the men around. Their eyes are glued to her like they're trying to peel off her skin. Before he could finish speaking, while he was tempting fate, the woman turned her head and looked over at him. As their eyes met, am I seeing things? Indeed, I actually dared to go alone, wearing a dress to the market. Even though I might be powerful, one must know there is always someone better. Can I say I'm the strongest in the base? If not, it's best to stay low-key and develop slowly. Otherwise, Joe covered his face and looked at Pei in disbelief. Brother Pei, why did you hit me for no reason? Watch your mouth. My sister is the strongest. What does her wearing a dress have to do with you? Joe was completely bewildered. Is Brother Pei trying to suck up to that woman? Has he decided to be a boy toy, to avoid 20 years of struggle? Joe looked at Brother Pei with a complicated expression. The unyielding and incorruptible brother, in his heart, was now acting like a peacock, flaunting himself as he rushed toward the woman. Although this woman, compared to the big shots in the base, is much better looking, you can't compare them like that. Look at how thin this woman has become. Joe claimed his criticism wasn't because he was jealous. Some people don't want to rely on a woman because they choose not to. But for others, guess if they don't want to, they just can't get the chance. Joe was the one who couldn't get the chance. Thinking this, he hurriedly ran over. What if the big shot woman doesn't like show-offs and prefers someone slightly handsome like him instead? I really didn't expect that. With just a casual glance, I would directly catch the original owner's beloved younger brother. The original owner's obsession with him was so strong that even her own mother had to take a back seat. Little brother is the real king. But sorry, I didn't inherit the geo-control buff. So when Brother Pei lunged at me, I dodged slightly. He instantly missed. Brother Pei didn't care. Instead, he excitedly said, "It's really you. Why are you wearing a skirt? You look amazing." I don't really wear skirts because I'm too skinny. Even when I go out occasionally, people always point and stare. I'm skinny as a skeleton. Joe just ran over. That's not what you said earlier. Didn't expect you to actually have the heart of a simp big bro. I looked up at him. What are you doing here? No wonder Pei Yan couldn't find him. Turns out Brother Pei came to the outer city. It was all because of him. Brother Pei pointed at Joe who followed. The night before the apocalypse, he had a breakup. Said he wanted to see the ocean. So I drove him to Y City. We just arrived. Suddenly, tons of zombies showed up biting people in the streets. The virus took over the whole city in an instant. We stayed in a hotel, then awakened our abilities so we could protect ourselves. Eventually, the whole city fell. A rescue team took us to the southern province base. I thought all of you would come here. Well, you guessed wrong. Pei Yan already settled in G City. The whole group thought the southern province base was tiny and lame. The location was bad too. So they went as a group to G City. Sis, how did you know? Brother Pei looked surprised. Sis, you met Big Bro. Yeah, he brought his companions to find me where I lived. I later went near the Polytechnic to look for you, but couldn't find you. Because of the weather, we decided to head to the base early. And then? Brother Pei quickly asked. Later, we reached a fork in the road. I wanted to take a more dangerous route. Pei Yan didn't agree, so we went our separate ways. Brother Pei seemed to miss the word dangerous. He got angry instantly. Pei Yan just left you like that? I can't believe it. And he's still supposed to be your brother. Turns out you can't count on someone unless you're really related. Bah, it's still the two of us who got each other's back. When he said this, he totally forgot. He and Pei Yan are half-brothers too. Brother Pei sounded fierce. Next time I see him, I'm definitely going to flatten him. Before the apocalypse, I couldn't beat him. But after, it's not certain anymore. I've awakened abilities, and I'm in the speed class. I quietly reminded him. Pei Yan awakened the fire class ability. When I split up with her, She was a level 2 ability user. Alright. At least now Run is almost successfully avoiding the beating combo. Even if you awaken your powers, you still can't escape bloodline suppression. Sis, are you okay? How did you get here? I flew here. Joyu exclaimed in shock nearby. Sis, you're actually a flying ability user? No wonder you dare to wear high heels. So it's because you can fly. Sis, can you let me touch your wings? I'm so curious. Touch my wings. For what? Bro, why'd you hit me? You really don't know why I hit you? You scumbag. Stay away from my sister. And you still want to touch her wings? Why don't you just go die or something? Joyu made a zipper gesture on his own mouth. Only then did Paybro let him go. Sis, why did you come here? Are you here to trade for supplies? I still have a few crystal cores left.
Take them.
When Paybro says a few crystal cores, it means just 3. He's really short on them. He needs them to upgrade his power, and to exchange for supplies too. Zombies aren't that hard to kill, but all the ones nearby have been cleared out. Even the stray ones are all gone. If you want more crystal cores, you have to go to houses that haven't been explored yet, or similar places. He hasn't joined a team, so it's really normal for him to be this poor. I glanced at the crystal cores in his hand, a bit speechless. Paybro saw me stay silent, and thought I was moved. He patted his skinny chest without thinking. Sis, you don't have to be moved. I'm about to go take on a mission now. Earning crystal cores will be a piece of cake soon. No problem taking care of you in the future. I wasn't touched. Glad you guys weren't moved. Paybro was a bit embarrassed. He quickly tried to save some face and smooth things over. Where are you staying now? Joyu and I got assigned a 2-bedroom apartment. You should come stay with me. You can have my room. I'll share a room with Joyu. I thought for a moment before answering. I got assigned a duplex townhouse. A duplex townhouse? Joyu, listening nearby, just couldn't help blurting out. I know flying ability users are in demand, but I didn't realize it was this in demand. Maybe flying abilities aren't as valued elsewhere, but here at the Southern Province base, they're a hot commodity. The reason is, many cities in Southern Province are completely flooded, which means resources are already scarce, making them even more precious. Seafood, though, is never lacking. But what normal family can eat seafood every day? So at times like this, they really need lots of flying ability users to transport seafood to other places and trade for supplies. Flying ability is a special category, and not many people awaken it. And it's even rarer at the Southern Province base. So those who did awaken flying abilities really are making money while flying. As long as you don't get attacked by malicious humans, the job of flying ability user really isn't that dangerous. You can fly and earn money at the same time. So jealous. Hey bro heard this and felt a little disappointed, but also proud of his sister. He thought with the apocalypse here, he could finally be someone his sister depended on.
He didn't expect her to be even more amazing than him.
Even before the apocalypse, she took care of him. Since they were little, the family always kept his allowance tight, and only his sister would share hers with him, along with snacks. When she grew up, she became a streamer, and after earning money, she bought him everything he wanted. He always wanted to repay her once he started making money. But he didn't expect the end of the world to come. Let's go. Come with me to check out the market. I didn't notice Paybro's mood. They call it a market, but actually it's just a bunch of stalls. There's also one official base shop. The sign at the entrance shows the crystal cores you can use to trade for supplies. Seafood sellers are the most common, but also the most ignored. I saw someone with a big metal basin, filled with crawfish even bigger than Moe's pineapple. A sign hung above it. It said Newton crawfish on it. Delicate, fresh meat. A basin per crystal core. Paybro followed my gaze over and saw the sign. Dang, a core for a whole basin. What a ripoff. All this time, I kept hearing seafood isn't worth much here, but I didn't realize it was this worthless. 1 core for a big basin of crawfish. and it's still called a ripoff. I saw the crawfish were fairly fresh, so I handed a core to the seller. I'll take this basin of crawfish. Pedro picked it up, saying it wasn't worth it for me. Before he could finish his sentence, the seller grabbed the crystal core, grinning as he handed the basin to Pedro. Thank you, boss. I'll give you this extra basin for free too. Haha. And then he ran off in a flash. He ran so fast, afraid I'd change my mind. Sis, using a core for a basin of crawfish is way too expensive. Pedro figured Sis was new at the base and didn't know how things worked. He tossed the basin to Joyu, then chased after me to explain. You have no idea. Every few days we have a big battle here. After it ends, the coast is littered with fresh seafood. You don't even have to pay, just pick it up. One core isn't a lot, but you could get other stuff for it. I was confused, but I want to eat it now. And if I can solve something with money, why bother doing it myself? I sounded so sincere, and while Pedro and Joyu, the two broke guys, felt awkward. Broke people have to consider cost-performance ratio. But do flying ability users need to? She lives in a duplex townhouse after all. Same people. Such a huge difference. After buying seafood, I saw lots of fresh vegetables too, so I bought a bunch. Fresh veggies are a luxury too. After all, since the apocalypse, no one really wants to farm anymore. Any regular person with ambition would rather go out, kill zombies and earn crystal cores, and win the right to survive. Of course, that all sounds nice, but the reality is, no matter how much regular people farm, they can't compete with plant ability users accelerating the growth. Plants just make it impossible for regular people's crops to be profitable. So, in the future, plant ability users will dominate the vegetable and fruit market. They'll get to set the prices most of the time. After all, they're the real suppliers. And those veggie sellers you see now are just middlemen who buy from plant ability users and resell it. They just make a little profit in between. Pedro and Joe, you are so broke, they can't even spare a core to buy veggies. If they're craving greens, they have to buy the seeds themselves. And even then, what they grow is barely enough just for themselves. Right now, the two of them were both loaded down with all the stuff I bought while wandering around. I was spending crystal cores like they were nothing, seemingly not noticing at all, some greedy eyes watching us in the shadows. Sis, let's go quickly. Fighting isn't allowed in City, but it's impossible to stop it entirely. It's like the laws set before the apocalypse. There were still many people who knowingly broke them. Of course, I've already noticed some unfriendly looks from certain people. But I don't care at all. Why should I be afraid? If they dare come at us, they won't be going back. Joe, you immediately started flattering me. Sis, you're so badass. Badass? My sister's flying ability may be safe from zombies, but humans with superpowers can still hurt her. I glanced at what the two of them were holding. Basically, there was no space left to carry anything more. Go call a cab. Let's head back,
he said charitably.
Brother Pei acted as if he'd been pardoned. He immediately called for a 4-wheel car. The three of us got in with all our stuff. I gave the driver the address. The car started up. And not long after, a car quickly began tailing us. This really is a nice place. It's just a bit close to the battlefield. If the base ever can't hold, the first place hit would be where my sister lives. Do you two have anything left in your room? If you do, grab it while we're passing by. You can live at my place from now on. All right. Paige and Joe, you were still amazed by my place. I was in the passenger seat, glancing at the back seat through the rearview mirror. Honestly, I mainly wanted to take care of Brother Pei. For the original host in this world, this little brother was her last real concern. Cultivators believe in settling karmic debts. I got to borrow her body for free, and I was even planning to slack off and live a lazy life here. So I have to make up for her obsessions with some spiritual and material compensation. And aside from watching out for Paige, at least I have a reliable companion and a few changes of clothes. As for supplies, there aren't any. Those two were already out of money and out of options. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken the job. Actually, at the South Province base, the main advantage compared to other bases is that you never run out of food in the South. And by food, I mean seafood. Because of this, the South base has lots of lazy folks. As long as you don't starve, people just gorge themselves on seafood. There's no way they're going on adventures. Just surviving is already a feat. I don't have any men's clothes there, so I told the driver to swing by the place where Leger and Joe were staying. Their place wasn't bad. It was in an old residential complex. The building was still in decent shape, less than 10 years old. The main gate to the complex was open, so people could go in freely, but cars weren't allowed in. The three of us got out. Joe said, "Bro, I'll go get it. You two wait here." "Okay, make it quick." Brother Pei replied. Once Joe ran off, he walked over to me. Just as he was about to say something, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a minivan pull up and stop behind our car. Then that tiny van, like it was stuffed with cotton, squeezed out a bunch of people. 1, 2, and then 6 people came out of that small van. These 6 people, 4 men and 2 women, 2 of whom look a bit older, with beards, roughly around 50 years old. The other 4 also appeared to be in their 20s or 30s. They are looking at Pei and me, the greed in their eyes almost solidifying into substance. One man, less than 1.7 meters tall, is very physically robust, with a prominent scar on his face. His inverted triangular eyes give him a truly menacing look. Among the 6, he seems to be the strongest, and they vaguely seem to follow his lead. He takes a step forward, looking at me with sinister eyes, sizing me up and down. He says, "Little girl, I advise you to hand over the crystal nuclei obediently, and then have some fun with me. Otherwise, don't blame me for showing no mercy later." Idiot! I glanced at them, searching my mind for that one word. Pei looks at his sister in shock. Since when did sister become so brave? He knows that after the apocalypse, many people's personalities have changed drastically. But for sister to go from being socially anxious to a social terrorist, the change is just too massive. She whispers a reminder. "Sis, I'll go first later, to hold them off. You leave first, don't worry. I have speed powers. I run very fast." I glance at Pei, my eyes full of deep affection for him. I finally understand why the original owner couldn't let go of this brother. He just seems a bit silly, and can't read the room. Seeing how calm I am, he should know I definitely have things under control, rather than just acting tough. I'm not stupid. Without the right tools, I wouldn't bother offering myself up as a target. It's obvious the other side has the numbers. Provocation would be pure recklessness. Only that big dark guy in front lacks insight. Hearing Pei's quiet mumbles nearby, he immediately bursts into loud laughter. "Wanna run? Do you think with so many of us, we would let you escape?" Just as he finished speaking, the 2 women standing behind him frowned slightly. "Enough! Stop talking nonsense. Finish them off quickly. If we run into a patrol of soldiers, it'll be trouble." I spoke at the same time. God said, "I have a sword to slay idiots." The words of the 3 fell simultaneously. The 6 opponents saw a long silver sword, shining with a dazzling light, descending into my hand like a blade from the heavens. "A space user? Sis, you're a space user? Then why did you make me carry the things we just bought? They're heavy, you know?" The dark guy, seeing this scene, bit his lip. "You didn't ask?" The 2 of them talking as if no one else was there, made the 6 opponents feel ignored. The man immediately said, "We offered a toast, but you refused it. Now take the penalty, attack." With those words, everyone unleashed their powers, except for the idiot in the lead who didn't move. But I soon knew what his power was. A mentalist. I smiled slightly. How amateur. Your powers aren't great, yet you attempt a mental attack. To me, this man's mental attack is like the difference of a single drop of water falling into the sea. Without even needing to form a thought, the mental attack vanished without a trace. However, a counterattack was still necessary. I raised my sword, blocking the powers that followed the mental attack. Then, with a slight shift of my will, the man standing before me suddenly widened his eyes, and a trickle of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Following that, his shocked and panicked gaze gradually became vacant. Sister. Big brother is under a mental attack. The two women standing closest to the man were the first to notice his abnormality. They looked at each other. Sister, let's go! Among the 6 of them, the strongest was this level 3 mentalist. Not only was his level the highest, but because it was mental-based, he could attack people invisibly. They had cooperated several times before. Even when facing some users stronger than them, relying on the man's mental attack, their ambushes were always successful. They never failed. Wanna run? You'll have to ask my sword first. I threw the sword out. The blade flickered with a cold light, gliding gently through the air, leaving behind a silver trail. Simultaneously, it left several bright red bloodstains. They looked at the scene in shock. A thin, long sword, like a gust of wind, brushed gently past their necks. Then, blood vessels burst. 6 trails of blood erupted into the air. Yet, not a single drop of blood remained on the blade. In the blink of an eye, someone's eyes widened, as if they never imagined they wouldn't even have a chance to resist. And just like that, at the end of life, only faint wails remained. My tone was nonchalant. I said I would slay them. There's no reason to quit halfway. Joyu arrived carrying the bags, just in time to witness this large-scale funeral scene. Sister is so cool! The sword appeared from the air and disappeared into the air again. Got the stuff? Then let's go back. Pei and Joyu got into the car in a daze, only snapping out of it after the car had driven dozens of meters. Sis, you're actually a triple threat user, mental, space, and flight? The strongest experts in the base. Our only dual threat. Aren't you afraid of me? I raised an eyebrow. I just killed 6 people. I noticed Pei seemed a bit frightened just now. Although killing isn't illegal after the apocalypse, and more people are doing it, some people still have a moral baseline and cannot accept killing. Pei shook his head. Why would I be afraid of my sister? If sister didn't have the ability, the ones who died today would have been us. They clearly weren't good people. Their actions were practiced. Who knows how many people they've harmed? This counts as doing a service for the post-apocalyptic world. This surprised me slightly. Killing those people in front of Pei today was actually a way to test him. As for the result of the test, it's acceptable. I'm not a good person, but I am extremely protective of my own. Once I consider someone one of my own, whether they are right or wrong, I will always side with them in front of outsiders. As for discipline, if discipline is needed, I will do it myself. It's not for outsiders to tell me what to do. After Pei finished speaking, he immediately said, Sis, are you really a triple threat user? Or could you be quadruple threat? I should be an all-element user. All-element, meaning you have every power? Pei and Joyu's eyes widened. The two of them, like startled huskies, stared blankly for a long time. Until the car reached the front of the villa, the driver, who had been trembling all the way, finally dared to speak. He was just an ordinary person. Having heard so many secrets just now, he wouldn't be silenced, would he? We've arrived.